we're back. We're bad. You're black. I'm mad.
Good man. Hey, listen. If we're going, shouldn't I have a gun?
No.
You think that when you die, you go to heaven. You come to us.
We'll do it live. Fuck it. Do it live. I'll write it and we'll do it live. Fucking thing sucks. Take it away.
What is happening, chillers? Welcome to the Horror Livestreams Matter Show and the month of Macabre. I hope everyone is well. Thank you for joining us. I'm Vass, and this is my homeboy Pete. And there's no backing down now. We are locked into this 31 days of Halloween. We are 2 movies in, but there's a long way to go. Pete, mate, old buddy, old pal, how the heck are you?
Oh, Vassy, all the better for seeing you, my friend. You are a sight for sore eyes. It has been quite a mundane week of work, I have to say. So I've been looking forward to this, and I've been looking forward to the 1st of October, so I could start this movie thing. But I've managed to squeeze a few other movies in this week, which is nice. I don't normally have that spare time, so it's been a good week, a busy week, but ultimately been looking forward to being sat here right now with you, mate.
Oh man, that's really nice of you to say, man, Pete. I'm so happy that you're here with us, and I watched a bunch of movies as well. Let's see if your movies and my movies, maybe we've seen the same movies. So let me just say, last week you mentioned that Marilyn Monroe movie, Blonde, and did you watch the movie?
I did. That's one of my movies I watched. Yes.
What did you think of that movie? And I'll tell you what I thought of that movie.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's not a horror movie, but there's horrific elements in the movie, very much like Black Swan, where every now and then there's just a real horrific part in it, and you think, oh shit! And there's a scene in there, for instance, where Marilyn is getting out of a car, to where loads of photographers, for instance, are taking photographs of her, and the camera zooms very slowly around the photographers and the men in the crowd, and they've got these weird, fucked off, almost Jacob's Ladderish kind of mouths going, and that was full on horror movie. And there's a wee scene where she is convinced that she's carrying John F. Kennedy's baby, and she wakes up in the middle of the night and it's night vision. And the Secret Service are infiltrating her apartment to take her away and give her this forced abortion. And as she stands up in a bedroom, there's the Secret Service guy just like that going against the wall, and that kind of freaked me out. So I wouldn't say it's a full-on horror movie. There's horrific elements in there, and to be fair, some of the stuff that happens to Little Marilyn and Big Marilyn are pretty fucking horrific. There's a lot of abuse in there and stuff like that. I thought it was very well, beautifully shot, and I thought she was absolutely perfect as Marilyn Monroe. Like, she blew me away, I have to say. I thought she was great. However, there is quite a lot of the script, quite a lot of the action where it does feel like she's purposely putting on this impression of Marilyn Monroe all the time. It's like this character's kind of taken over type of thing. So it wasn't the horror film that I was hoping for. Now, Mark Kermode promised me, but it was. It did have horrific elements in it. I sat through the entire movie in one sitting, so it went on, enough pace.
The movie, it's a long movie, Pete. It's a really long movie. It's almost 3 hours,
10 minutes or something like that.
Yeah.
But listen, it's one that I'll probably never ever revisit. But I've watched it, and I kind of see where Mark Kermode's coming from, but it's not a full-on horror film. He promised me. I
didn't think it was a horror film at all. I was like waiting for something. It's certainly not scary. Like it is like psychologically, like you say, a lot of bad stuff happens to her, but God damn, that movie was boring as anything, man. I watched the first hour, right, and I got through it, and then I started skipping bits because it was just it was so slow. You're right, it looked great, man. It was beautifully shot. I mean, the camera work on it was magical, and the actress, I mean, she was great, man. She was marvelous, effervescent. It was like she was really good. But the movie itself,
you've got to imagine that she'll be in for some kind of awards. Come award season, you've got to imagine she'll be right up there for a performance, right?
Which is a better movie, man. I did not like the movie at all. I wouldn't recommend it, and I'm definitely not going to be watching it again because I couldn't make it through the first time.
Well, I think you're not alone, mate. You're not alone. Quite a lot of the critics have, slammed the movie itself.
Why was it NC-17? I don't know if I skipped those bits, but I didn't see anything that bad.
Well, there's a wee kind of, to be honest, it's got to be the blowjob scene. Did you stick around for the blowjob scene?
I might have seen a bit of that, but that shouldn't make it an NC-17.
Yeah, but remember, the censors are more funny about sex than they are gore. And violence. You can stick any kind of violence up there and generally get away with 15.
I gotta say, Pete, it's quite reminiscent of one of the movies on our list. The first movie we're gonna review, Starry Eyes. There's quite a few similarities with that movie and Blonde, because it's all about what you would do to get fame and fortune, and what you're willing to do.
Exactly.
It was quite similar that, but we'll get on to that in a bit.
Absolutely.
But, I'll tell you what, let's have a look at some of the comments because I think we do have some comments.
Lovely.
Video Tasties. Hi, Mr. Beetle. Oh, Mr. Beetle. Let me start at the beginning because obviously I've missed something. The Real Fifth Beetle. Hi, mate. Hi. Nice to see you.
I watched his show the other night that we're talking about the new Halloween Ends trailer, which I still haven't seen myself.
I haven't seen it either.
Went quite in depth into it. It was a good view.
2 weeks, isn't it? It's come out in 2 weeks.
14th, yeah.
Yeah,
not long.
I will be watching that. God. Hey, it's Ant, the Lost Boy, one of my favorite dudes in the whole world. All right, mate. Lovely to see you here, mate. He's saying hello, Pete.
Hi. How are you doing?
Yeah. And there's my wife. Hello, guy. Nice to see you both. Yeah. Thanks, honey. Real Fifth Beetle. I have a problem every time I say that. I say it wrong. The Real Fifth Beetle. Starry Eyes has an insanely violent kill. It does. We're going to get on to that soon.
We'll get on to that
because I wasn't too impressed with it, but we'll get to that.
You know what? When I was watching it, Vass, I thought I'm going to be interested to see what Vassie's got to say about this film.
Right. Matthew Binney from Australia. Happy Horror October. Absolutely, man. It is Halloween season. We are here. There's my son, Hassan. Hello. Hi, mate. Video Tasties. Gareth. Too many Geordies on this channel. It's like Biker Grove.
I'm a Mackham. Not a Geordie.
I'll be Ant, you be Deck, mate. Gareth. Oh, just done that one. Oh shit! I should be putting them on the screen. I haven't even put it on the screen. What is wrong with me? Matthew Binney. Hello, Mr. Hassan and Garrett. You're just saying hello to each other. Yep. And right, mate. So yeah, the one movie that I know I haven't seen that you have seen, mate, is Smile. So what was that like? Because I'm definitely looking forward to watching that movie, mate.
Yeah.
What was Smile like?
First, I was kind of hooked by the trailer, the whole, big shock at the end of that trailer, very reminiscent of, John Carpenter film, In the Mouth of Madness. It kind of sprung to mind when I initially saw it. So I thought, that is definitely getting watched. So I promised myself I would, and I went along to my local cinema, the Pavilion in Galley Shields last night, and it's a great little cinema because it's tiny. There was me, the missus, and about 6 other people in there, and the only screening of Smile per day was on at 10 to 8 last night. And the beauty of it was like a movie, mate. I pulled up at the cinema, outside the cinema door, left the car there, went straight in, watched my movie, came out the cinema doors, got in my car and drove away. I love that. That never happens, but it happened last night. Anyway,
okay.
So onto the movie itself. I really, really liked it. Okay, did it deliver on the trailer for me? Probably not. But it is a very strong film. Certainly that director's one to watch because his eye for a shot and certainly a sound design, mate, is absolutely stunning in there. There are a few. I mean, the movie predominantly is jump scare shocks, but not cheap not cheap jump scare shocks.
Shocks. They're done well. They're effective.
It's done well. When the shock kicks in, there's usually some kind of fusion type of sound leading up to it. Very kind of like future sound of London almost going on in the background. But let's say, a woman screams at the camera, it'll be a blood-curdling bloody scream. So it really sends shivers up your spine. Do they show far too much in that fucking trailer? They fucking show far too much in that fucking trailer, bastard. Quite a lot of the movie is in that bloody trailer. But the bits that aren't in there are also very good. And the big reveal at the end of the movie, and obviously I'll keep it spoiler-free, the big reveal at the end where you see as the viewer what these people are seeing when the curse comes to fruition is fucking scary. And it's really good. And also, there was a couple of bits in there. There's this little kid who's like the nephew of the tale. And every time his auntie comes around, who's this doctor who's literally losing her mind in this movie, something really bad happens, usually to him. And I was just bad laughing at this. This kid he gets tortured in this movie, man. So watch the movie, keep an eye out for the kid, and laugh your ass off every time he gets tortured, man, because it's really good. But the main lady in this, and I forget her name. I did have it in front of me. The main lady in this, she is called Susie Bacon. She's great in it. Like, she absolutely gives her all, which I like to see. I like to see actresses and actors take, even though it's a genre movie, taking it bloody seriously and giving it their all, and she does. And you believe her, and you believe that she's losing the bloody mind.
Is it a serious horror film then? Is it? It's a serious horror film. It's not jokey or anything.
There's no humor whatsoever in here. Unless you're a sick, twisted fuck like me, and you get a kick out of the little kid who gets tortured quite a lot in this movie. But apart from that, it's a very serious horror movie. By the time Paramount Pictures pops up presents, you're about 10 minutes into the movie and a lot of shit's gone down and it's been quite scary and horrific, and you almost go when it says Paramount Presents, you're like, you're pleased for that little breather. So it has those moments where it's really full on. It is a little bit derivative. It's not
the trailer. The trailer reminded me of It Follows. Is it any similarities to that movie?
There are similarities to It Follows because this entity can appear anywhere from it wears people's faces, if that makes any sense. I could be talking to you, Vasi, for all of a sudden, and all of a sudden you'll start smiling and you'll go, shit, it's you. Yeah, it doesn't really, what I liked about it doesn't really explain the entity a whole hell of a lot. It's just there.
Is it a curse or something? Is it that's
very much like? I mean, I don't think I'm spoiling anything here, but basically, the entity goes into somebody or attaches themselves onto somebody, and then makes them have 7 days of seeing shit and being really scared, and that you're going to die soon. Blah, blah, blah.
It sounds like Ring.
It tells you. Oh, it's very much like the Ring, mate. Very much like the Ring. But the only thing is, when you die. Okay, when you die, you will top yourself essentially, but you must do it in front of a witness to create trauma, and trauma will make the entity spread to its next victim, and it keeps going and going and going and going and going and going and going. And
sounds a bit Ring, bit Grudge, bit It Follows. It looks like it's not that original, to be honest, but it's well done.
There's no It Follows, there's no Ring, there's no The Grudge, there's no Smile. Very simple. That movie doesn't exist without those three that you've mentioned there. But is it worth a watch? Yes. Is it worth going to the cinema for? Yes. I'm going to give it a solid 7 out of 10. My only disappointment was there's quite a lot in that trailer. There's quite a lot in that trailer, unfortunately. But the other bits that are in there are worth your movie ticket. So don't let that put you off.
A good nuts and bolts horror film, yeah.
Definitely, mate. Definitely.
Oh,
it's one of those ones that I'll watch again, and I'll probably end up buying as well.
champion. Right, let's go to the comments here. Dave Boosty's in the house. Hi guys, how's it going? It's going very well, mate. Me and Pete, we're on top form.
Happy Sunday.
October does begin, yeah, man. Our favorite time of the year. Video Tasty's barely watched a trailer all year. That's the way to do it. Like that's the way, especially with horror films, man. You got to be careful. Got to be so careful. The real Fifth Beatle. Thanks for watching, Pete.
Oh, thank you for making it.
The Lost Boy. He is in Manchester. Yeah, Gareth. Gareth is a cheeky bastard. Wait, I man. Agreed. The real Fifth Beatle. It's shit that we have to wait another 3 weeks for Barbarian.
Great.
I don't know. I've heard mixed things about that. I've got a feeling I'm not going to like that movie, but we'll see. I'm open-minded about it. Ant says, "Thanks for subbing, Matt. Just sub back." Rabbi Vasim, I like your shirt, Pete. Oh yeah, that's one of the ones you bought recently.
Say again?
I said that's one of the ones you bought recently, isn't it?
It is. It's essentially a videotape. This shirt is my childhood. It's pretty much every movie that I worshipped when I was a kid.
Read the names of the movies on there.
Yep. Predator, American Werewolf, Die Hard, RoboCop, The Thing, Aliens, The Shining, and The Evil Dead, mate. It pretty much is Pete's t-shirt, like.
It's a good show, man. Good show.
Yeah.
Dear Boosty, I'm only one train stop away from Salem as usual. Can't wait to go over there and see the chaos at some point. Salem Mass. Yeah, I bet that's interesting in October time.
Yeah.
Matthew Binney says, thanks, Fifth Beatle. I already subbed you about 4 weeks ago. All right. Have I missed one there? I have. All right, yeah. Real Fifth Beatle just subbed to you, Matthew. Very good. That's what we like. Everyone sub to everyone in the chat. Why not? Let's get it done. And Lost Boy says, Gareth, ha ha ha. He's a funny man. He's a funny man. Right. One of the movies I watched this week was Bodies, Bodies, Bodies. Did you watch Bodies, Bodies, Bodies?
I watched Bodies, Bodies, Bodies also.
Yeah. No, I thought it was going to be like a slasher movie, but it's not. Slasher movies at the beginning, you always have that, that suspenseful scene at the beginning.
Yeah.
And but there was none of that in there, so I was thinking, what's going on here? And some super obnoxious people in that movie.
Yep.
And then, but I've got to admit, I quite liked the movie. And there were some horrible songs at the beginning as well. And I was like, I don't like where this is going. But I've got to say, as the movie went on, I kind of liked it more and more. And by the end of it, I was quite pleased with the movie. I thought it was quite decent. What did you think, Pete?
I've got to agree with you, mate. To be fair, we talked about this before I watched it, and I said I'm not looking forward to watching this movie because these people are fucking obnoxious. I don't feel like I've got anything in common.
They do grow on you, though, don't they? They do grow on you.
They do grow on you. And to be fair, the dialogue was sharp. And I recognized it from, being on Twitter and being on different horror forums of the way people kind of converse with each other these days. Me being an old man these days, I don't really talk like some of these guys. So it was well written. It was well thought out. That when it gets gnarly, it gets gnarly, to be fair. And without spoiling any of the plot line, the reveal as to why this all happened, I was in kinks laughing my ass off because I could absolutely see that happening.
It was so funny,
I was down with it. I was like, that scene alone made everything that I just watched completely worthwhile. So I was pleased I watched it, mate. It
was all quite familiar to me though. When I watched it, it was like it wasn't like that original. I've seen the same sort of thing, just in different circumstances. The way the kills were happening and why they were happening, who was doing it. It was very kind of reminded me of. Very Bad Things. You've seen Very Bad Things with Christian Slater that accidentally killed this person, and the way that went out. It kind of reminded me of that.
Absolutely. It started off, and I thought, is this going to be an unofficial remake of April Fool's Day? That's what I was kind of thinking this was going to be, but no, things started to get a little bit more serious.
I was trying to work out what was happening. And it was like it didn't make. I couldn't. I like the way they ended it because it did make sense. But I don't know. I like the music in the movie as well. I thought not the songs, but the music, because there's a storm outside, isn't it? And they're all staying in this big mansion place, having a hurricane party.
Yeah.
And inside the music's in the first half, the music's quiet inside and really loud outside because there's a hurricane going on. But I like all the music. But the music inside, it reminded me of Phantasm music, the theme of Phantasm. I don't know if you noticed that, but I was listening to that. I'm like, That sounds just like the Phantasm theme.
I
When they were beating around the house in the dark.
But I thought production-wise, it was solid.
Yeah.
It was
For an
it was a
A24 movie, it wasn't half bad, and that's
To be honest with you, mate, I was just thinking there, does Vasi realize this is an A24 movie? But
I know. When I saw it at the beginning, it put you right off, and then I thought I'd just try and enjoy it. But
no.
I like that one girl, the one girl who's a podcaster. She was I quite liked her.
Oh yeah.
I'm not do spoilers. No, let's not do any spoilers. It's quite a new movie, but it was not a bad movie. Yeah, I definitely recommend that one.
I didn't expect to have a good time with that at all, but I did.
Yeah. That was a good movie I watched this week. Let's have a look here. The Real Fifth Beatle recently rewatched The Witch. Just can't get into that film. I agree completely. I do need to rewatch it, but I don't like
to see The Witch. I was super excited about it. Yeah, I was super excited about it because I'd read reviews saying, "Oh, it's the scariest thing since blah 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 blah," and I came out and
barely even a horror film, man.
Yeah, it's. I think I've seen it again since, and it's not a good time, man. It's just not a good time. There's even serious horror films. I can get something out of the movie skips along quite nicely. This doesn't, man. I mean, every scene, the bloody slog in The Witch, like it.
I find people who like stuff like The Witch and the Midsommar. I find these people a bit suspect, to be honest with you. Real Fifth Beatle, I liked the bodies. There you go. Man's got good taste. Yep. Margot was fun as well. Dave Bushy, I've already seen the movie Barbarian for free online. It was okay-ish. The threat when it's revealed is anticlimactic. I think it was kind of silly in a way. Yeah, I think it's done really, really well, isn't it? That movie, Barbarian. I think it was like number one.
Money, It's made some money. All the relevant online horror people are singing its praises. So I'm sure the director will.
Just a lot of the people I follow and who are like, I trust their views on movies. They didn't really like it.
They didn't really like it.
So, I don't know, but I've seen some good reviews of it as well.
Yeah.
Real Fifth Beatle, the dialogue went a bit woke towards the end. It did. It totally did.
I think
definitely like you wouldn't. You can compare that with Starry Eyes, which is like only like less than 10 years old.
Yeah.
And there was no gay stuff in it, and it was like just like a linear story, and everyone was super annoying in that movie as well. But we'll get onto that. But you can see the difference between movie making, like movies now. They're all so, I don't know.
Well, to be honest with you,
characters in there, and always got to. I don't know, man.
One of the things that I kind of liked about Bodies, that it was actually very self-aware as far as its woke dialogue, and it's I think there's quite a large scene where the big tall guy, I forget his name, stands in front and he's saying, a lady says, "Oh, you're gaslighting me." And he's like, "Gaslighting me? I gaslight
that
you."
was a funny thing.
He goes, "What the fuck does that even mean? You don't even know what the fuck that means. You read that on Twitter, blah 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 blah." I liked the fact that it was quite self-aware, that it was woke, and it also took the piss out of it quite a lot as well, because again, without going into spoiler territory, the very reason why the whole movie happens is because of this kind of generation that lives to be a certain way online type of thing, with without that kind of those aspirations there. This movie doesn't exist, so I kind of like that.
I don't know. I think films like this, I don't think they're gonna hold up well in the future, because I'm thinking all this stuff's gonna pass, all this woke stuff and that, it's gonna pass. But and I don't think people are gonna look back and watch it and think, well, people really like this, because I mean, we're not like this, are we? It's like it's the thing you see on social media and all these social justice people, and that's what they're like. But it's not what normal people like.
Yeah, I mean, it's
forced down our throats. It's like totally forced down our throats, and I don't appreciate it. I don't like it at all.
I mean, listen, people don't talk like that on the street or anything like that. It is an online persona that people, and you know what, certain aspects, there are ways that people should act online and ways that people shouldn't act online. But I think, and without getting into any kind of politics, and we'll move on to the next film shortly, but when when anything promotes a cancel culture, there's a very real danger of censorship. And I'm fucking all against censorship. You know what I mean? Even if it's an absolute knobhead with a point of view, then, you know, let the knobhead have a point of view, because, you know, what happens when, you know, it's basically, I was watching a show by Joe Bob Briggs, right? And he was talking about Netflix and all these streaming services and everything like that. And also, you know, this woke generation as well. And what he was concerned about was, you know, if physical media stops, and it's all coming from stream platforms, and the powers that be are these woke individuals and everything like that, then guess what? They're going to decide one day they don't want that revenge movie about the girl who gets gang raped and goes back to kill all the rapists. They don't want that on their platform, and then suddenly nobody wants that on their platform. And with no physical media, movies will just get deleted and disappear. And you know, a movie like I Spit in Your Grave might not be your cup of tea or anything, but I'm happy that it exists. You know what I mean? I'm happy that if I wanted to go and watch I Spit on Your Grave, I can go and watch I Spit on Your Grave. So I think I'm always nervous about any form of censorship, because it leads, you know, somewhere down the line. I think Joe Bob Briggs has a huge point with the reliance on streaming these days. Those little independent films like Starry Eyes, films like I Spit on Your Grave and all that, and even Cannibal Holocaust, which I fucking hate. There's a very real danger they could disappear, and that's a sad thing. You know, I don't want that for the genre, for the horror fans. You know, certainly don't want that for me. I don't want people making decisions on my behalf. No, thank you. Anyway, I'll stop ranting.
I heartily agree with everything you said there, Pete. Dave Boosty, I give Barbarian a 4 out of a Boosty 10. Started pretty good, but then I thought it got kind of silly and a little too silly.
Okay.
So not a glowing review there. And says Nos mentioned bodies last night. I was talking about the Slumber Party Massacre remake, and he got the films mixed up. That was rubbish. That Slumber Party Massacre. I don't like the original.
I watched the first 20 minutes of that remake, and I turned it off, mate. I absolutely couldn't handle it. It was that bad.
And in a nutshell, is it worth watching Bodies? Yeah, it totally is, man.
Yeah,
totally is. Yeah. Definitely a good watch. I don't know how many times I'd watch it, but it's definitely a decent watch.
Yeah.
The Real Fifth Ability, definitely Lost Boy, yes. Oh, where are we at here? The Real Fifth Beatle, movies changed from 2016 onwards. Yeah, that sounds about right.
All right, yeah.
Yeah. Same time we started getting all these what do they call them? Elevated horror films and stuff like that. That was around the same time as well, wasn't it? I don't know if there's a connection there. Horror movies changed from 2000. Yeah, it's not been a great millennium for horror films, in my opinion. Not like it was in the 80s.
I think independent horror is where it's been, you know, for me anyway, where the good stuff is independent. You know, independent horror. Your little gems that you find have been where the real ones have been, or abroad. You know, France. You know, still Korea, Japan, are knocking out at the park still. You know, and the thing is about the terminology, elevated horror, mate. You know, fucking, you know, Japan, Asia's been doing so-called elevated horror like Cairo Pulse for 20, 30 odd years. You know,
but at least they try and make them scary. They're making horror. They were making horror films. I mean, most of these, the new ones, it's like loads of drama in it, and I mean, easy on the drama and get on with the horror. It's a horror film, isn't it? Why you have to stick all this drama in there for? I have no idea.
Like I said, mate, Asia's been knocking these movies out that actually require the audience to have a little bit of a brain. They've been doing that for 20, 30, 40 years, and they certainly don't call it elevated horror. You know, I think that's an insult, such an insulting term. Like,
it is, yeah.
It insinuates that if you only like, you know, your gory horrors and you're not really into it, then you're somehow, you know, inferior to the watcher of elevated horrors. And fuck that noise. You know, what's that all about? You know, if it's a good movie, I like the good movie. How about that? You know, make a good movie.
Exactly, yeah. You don't get many of them these days. Gareth says, modern horror is so dull. I am rewatching Night of the Leapers, which I've never seen. You seen that movie?
No.
I've seen. Dave Boosty. So many horror movies nowadays are not scary enough and use abrupt, loud musical jump scares, seemingly only at times. Yeah, I mean, I really don't mind jumps if they're done well. I'm in for a good jump scare. Like I don't mind at all. But yeah, I know exactly what it means though. And I only buy physical media. I never buy download only films. I worked in retail for many years, and the internet absolutely destroyed retail.
100%.
True,
100%.
yeah, you see, go Tesco.
Do you know what I miss?
And the movie section is like it's almost not there anymore.
Yeah. Do you know what I miss, man? Do you know what I miss?
Movies.
Browsing. I miss fucking browsing. I miss walking into a shop and losing 2 hours. I'll come out with 4 Blu-rays or something like that, and the missus will say, "Where the fuck you been for 2 hours?" And I'm like, "In heaven. I've been in heaven for 2 hours, just browsing fucking movies. Buying movies just because I really like the cover art. That kind of thing. I miss that stuff. Bring back blockbusters."
Absolutely, man. Let's have a look here. Dave Boosty. But I did like Barbarian a little better than Black Phone, though, overall. I like Black Phone. It's one of my favourites from this year.
I like Black Phone.
Yeah. Which thing is better? What's better, Black Phone or Smile? Which is better, in your opinion?
Smile.
I really enjoyed Black Phone. It wasn't that good. As a horror movie, it wasn't that... I didn't rate it that much as a horror movie, but it's just as a good dark thriller with horror elements.
As a dark thriller, there's probably a little bit more quality going through Black Phone than there is Smile, right enough. But as a horror film, like I like
that director. I think I've liked every one of his movies that he's made. Like I don't think he's made a bad movie.
Yeah, no.
What's his name? Scott Derrickson,
is it?
Yeah. I don't think he's made a bad movie. He's not. I really like I think the first one I watched of his was Exorcism of Emily Rose, and that's a banger of a movie. That man, it's so good. A good scary possession movie, man. You don't get many of them, and that reminds me. Sorry, have you watched? What did I watch? My Best Friend's Exorcism on I think it was Netflix. Did you watch that?
This morning, mate. I watched that this morning. I really want to talk about this. I actually, I was in Timpson's, the bookshop, around a year and a half ago, and I bought the book. But Grady, somebody other, I bought the book anyway on the strength of the cover art because it looks like a really cool VHS horror movie, and I was thinking, holy shit, this is gonna be right up my alley. I read the book. I loved the book. It was, there's a lot.
You read a book, Pete? You read a book? You read a book?
I read the book. I loved it. Honestly, I love the book, mate. It goes into a lot more how these girls met and everything like that. And it's quite dark in places, a little bit scary, a little bit sinister and stuff like that as well. And I watched the movie this morning, and then I realized, holy shit, Peter, the book you read was for teenage girls. I didn't really realize that at the time because it was so bloody readable. I knew every song that they were referencing in the book, and they're very specific about referencing songs and movies and everything like that. They're going to see E.T. the first time they met in '82, and they've been friends since then, etc., etc. So I connected with every little bit of that, and I really got on board with the book. I liked the movie. Am I going to say I liked the movie? No. The
only thing that kept me watching that movie was like the 80s stuff, like the soundtrack. The Aha song at the beginning took me 20 minutes. Like, let me watch it. Like, made me enjoy the next 20 minutes just off the back of that one song. I've been watching it 20 minutes on. I mean, and then another song would come on. And I thought, oh, that's a nice song. And then, all the 80s stuff I did like.
There's no peril in this movie. There's no peril in the movie. And to be honest, because the book's so bloody readable, I never really realized that. And when I watched the movie, I was like, oh, yeah, she did only poison a mate and a mate survives. She did only do this and a mate survives. There's no peril in this movie whatsoever. And like I say, the book, it is quite scary in parts as well, But the film had none of that, unfortunately.
Dude, man, you cannot make a comedy possession movie. It doesn't, unless you're making a spoof. You can't make a comedy possession movie because your possession movie, a good one, has to be scary. It has to be. You can't have a possession movie scary. If you stick comedy in there.
I thought to myself, what a strange film this is, because it's not quite gory. It's not playing to your horror hounds. It's a little bit taboo because it's got, the F word in there, and there's, sexual references. So you're not playing to your 13-year-old girl. So I'm thinking, who the fuck's this movie for? It's like the weaker, watered down version of Jennifer's Body. That was kind of the taste that I had in my mouth, and I prefer Jennifer's Body. You know, I thought it was an okay film. That
the girl that gets possessed is super pretty. Like
she is.
I checked, she's 18. We can say that she's super pretty, but yeah,
absolutely. But you don't know she's a pretty girl, but. Yeah,
even the font. Did you notice the font? It was the Stranger Things font on the movie. If you watch the beginning and the end, it's exactly the Stranger Things font they used.
The font at the end, in fairness, and the color schemes is exactly the same as the book cover. And when I saw it, I was like, oh yeah, that looks exactly like the book cover. But yeah, I mean, the book cover's like got a proper kind of illustrated cover of an possessed girl and all this, and it's got like a wee fake sticker on that says "Be kind, rewind" and stuff like that. It looks like a VHS tape. So I bought it on the strength of that. Had a really good time with the book, mate. But felt a little bit silly once I watched the movie today and realized it was actually for tweenies.
The ending was the stupidest ending I've ever seen. I mean, how do you? I don't know. When she was saying the power of bloody Tiffany compels you to not be possessed anymore, and then when you see the demon come out, it looks like bloody the thing from Lord of the Rings. What's it called?
Yeah, I was thinking more Ghoulies too.
What the hell was that, dude?
Mate, honestly, I was like, that's not how I pictured that motherfucker looking like in the book. That is for sure.
Yeah.
Like, you know, there's a menacing prowess of this demon because it's everywhere that this girl goes, type of thing. She really gets it rough, and there's some the movie had it was far too interested in having its tongue firmly placed in its cheek, and the book has that. Don't get me wrong, but not quite to the extent.
Yeah. I mean, think Exorcist 3, like it has very, very good humor in the dialogue, but the tone of the movie is like scary all the way through. But this one, there was comedy, and it was almost like incidental that this girl was possessed. It was, I don't know, man.
Couldn't agree more, mate.
Did not like.
Speaking of Exorcist 3, mate, I started. I've watched the first episode of Damner this week on Netflix, which, by the way,
I've been watching that.
I mean, the first episode is unbelievably tense. Unbelievably tense. It was just horrible. There was times where I actually thought, I think I need to pause this. I want this guy to survive so much. I don't really know much about the actual case. So I didn't know if he was going to get away or not, but I thought to myself, I was watching with my partner at the time, and I was like, well, I'll give this Jeffrey Dahmer one thing. Boy's got good taste in movies, right? You know, he sat there watching The Exorcist 3 going, Chunter, and he's going, this is the best bit. I must watch this, then I'll be ready. And the guy's like, I got ready for what? Yeah. I'm like, that going, Massey knows what he's ready for. I know it. He's gonna be ready. But
I think in real life he used to wear contacts to make himself look like the dude from Exorcist 3.
Holy shit! I wondered about that because that's on the poster. He's got those kind of eyes, and I thought, well, that's weird. But I was thinking, Vass, on that scene, right, where that guy Tracy is next to him and he's shitting himself, and all the time he's just looking around the room, going, wait, what can I do? What can I do? Or maybe I'll dance for him. Maybe and then he'll move and I can get out. I was thinking to myself, what would I do? And I was thinking, I know what I'd do right there. I'd just bore the fuck out of him with Exorcist 3 facts. I'd be like, did you know this exorcism was actually a tacked-on ending? It wasn't even supposed to be in the movie, Jeffy. The scene that you like so much wasn't even supposed to be in the movie. Some rancid movie exec said it's not scary enough, so whacked it on there. I'd have bored him with Exorcist 3 facts. That's what I've done, mate. I probably would have got killed quicker, but quicker's good.
It's a super gay program. Like, I don't know how many episodes you've seen, but it's super gay, man.
I've just seen the one.
Yeah, it gets very gay. Let me get back to where we were. The real fifth Beatle. Remember when we got hot girls in horror? Exactly. Yes. Now they all have to be lesbians and has to have at least one gay. But it's not like the sexy gay. It's just like they're just gay. I don't know, man. Which reminds me, Pete, look, next week we've got 7 more movies to get through. And have you managed to source those movies? Have you tried yet?
I have. Yeah, I've got. Do you know
Did
what
you
I've got?
find Hell? Did you find Hellbent?
No, I haven't found
No.
Hellbent.
Well,
You
listen,
said it's
look,
on Prime, though.
it's on Prime, but you have to. It's one of those premium Prime, so you have to. There's like a gay streaming channel that has it on there because it's a gay slasher film, isn't it?
Yeah.
So you have to like subscribe to this gay streaming service, which I'm not going to do, dude. I'm not going to do that. It is available on YouTube. It's not very good picture quality, but you know what the crack is? I don't want to watch that movie, mate. I do not want to watch that movie. And can I just say, look, I really don't want to watch this movie. I didn't get it until I thought about the title. And me son said Hell Bent. It's a gay slasher movie. I went, oh yeah, of course it is. But you know what it is, Pete? I'm sure we said that we had our own section the last week was going to be Halloween themed ones, and Hellbent is set on Halloween. So technically, we shouldn't have that on the list anyway, mate. What do you say about that?
Is that a Halloween movie? Is it?
It is set on Halloween. I looked it up. I think we should knock it off and put something else in there. Ask someone for a different slasher movie, because I do not want to watch that movie, mate. You've not found it on YouTube. So what do you think? Do we have to watch that movie, or because, like I said, it's set on Halloween, and we said no, like slasher movies, but not Halloween ones, because the last week.
It is a slasher movie, though.
Yeah, but it's set in Halloween, so Halloween was in the last week, wasn't it? So we said
to be fair, that's why we put Terrifier in Halloween section rather than slasher section. We wouldn't accept Terrifier, but we put Terrifier in the Halloween section. What I would say, Vass, is I'm happy to go with the consensus. Maybe you should ask the forum, and they tell us that. I'm happy with these guys being in control, and if they want to nominate another slasher, then fine, let's do it.
Okay. Because I'm not comfortable watching this movie, Hellbent, which is the gay slasher movie, and I don't know what's going to happen in it, and I don't know. There's going to be a lot of stuff in there I don't want to see. It's just my preference, you know. I don't like that sort of stuff. Like I don't like sports movies, you know. This just types of movies. I don't like musicals. I don't like gay stuff either. So it's just one of the things I don't really like. So, and like I said, technically, it's set on Halloween, so we don't have to have it in. But let's move it over to the chat. And can we change that movie? Anybody in the chat? If because I don't want to watch it and I don't want to review it. So there you go. If anyone in the chat agrees with us, say that we can change the movie. And if we get 4 people saying we can change the movie, we'll change the movie. So I need 4 people to go in the chat and say swap out, get an alternate for that movie, and then we can change it because. It's like I think it's like 3 days time we need to watch that film, and I'd rather not.
Yeah, it is 3.
Okay, dear Boosty, horror movies nowadays. Oh, have I? Okay, have I read that or not? Dear Boosty, horror movies nowadays. Okay, right. Yeah. Let's get back to where we were. I don't know what that's in reference to. Savage Zombie reviews. Hi, mate. Nice to see you again this week. Hiya, Dave. Hello, Gareth. Right. I'm sure
we've watched mainly the same movies this week, mate.
Yeah. It's October now, so there's lots of horror stuff coming through. So I'm super happy with that. The real Fifth Beatle. Remember going to HMV in the early '90s? Great times. Absolutely.
There you go. Man. Absolutely.
Black Phone was disappointing in my opinion. I didn't like that. I liked it quite a bit. HMV is a sweet shop now. I've not been in HMV for a long time. I've got to say it. I've not been to HMV. When I get dragged in there, it's just to look at games. It's like for my kids. I never really look at the movies. Savage Zombie review. Sinister. Yeah, there you go. There's a good one. That's a movie I didn't really like the first time around, but I watched it second time. That is a good fucking movie.
Yeah, it's a grow, that film. It is a grow.
Unlike Sinister 2, which is a pile of pants.
It is.
The real Fifth Beatle, I think the one in Liverpool, is a Primark. Hey, Dave. Dave Boosty. I really did like Sinister, except a part of the ending. I still haven't seen part 2 yet. I heard that isn't so good or as good. It's not good at all. Major disappointment. The Real Fifth Beatle is Creep 2 worth a watch? You know what? I don't like those Creep movies, dude.
Can I answer that? Right, I really like the Creep movies, man.
Why the shit?
They're so
terrible.
Amazing. I love Creep 2. I love Creep 2. Get Creep 2.
It's not even a horror film, dude. He just puts a mask on. It's like,
it's fucking scary. I don't know what you're talking about. Peach Fuzz, man, it's fucking terrifying. Creep 2 is definitely worth a watch. It kind of drives things up a level from Creep 1.
I'll say this.
You don't know shit, buddy.
I don't like that movie, Pete. No, I hate those Creep movies, man.
Yeah, I own both of them. I own both.
Yeah,
of them.
you're a knob. You're a knob.
I do. I like them movies.
You are a knob. I love you, mate, but you're a knob. Let's have a look here.
I'll take
that. Savage Zombie Reviews. Hey, the Real Fifth Beatle. Dave Bushy. Exorcism of Emily Rose was a great movie, I thought, too. It was like The Exorcist meets Law and Order. Exactly, yeah, man. Yeah, and it was creepy as shit as well.
Yeah.
I hated Jennifer's, but I wasn't a big fan. I've only seen it once, but I wasn't a big fan of the movie. Ant says, I despise The Exorcist, one of the worst films. We already know this, mate. You don't like that movie. We already know it. But that's fine. You're allowed to not like it.
You're allowed to have your opinion, mate. Everyone's got them. That's fine.
The Real Fifth Beatle, The Exorcist 3 is better. Is better than Exorcist. I think he's saying it's better than the original Exorcist. It's a close call, that, mate. It's a close call, but I do prefer Exorcist 3. And 2 is the best Exorcist, but even that's not great. 2's fucking shit, mate. What are you talking about right now?
I think it's just being controversial. I think he's just being controversial. Part 2? Part 2?
Oh, my goodness.
No.
I don't know, man. Exorcist 2. I hate. You know when the first time I watched Exorcist 2 was, mate? I watched it at Ian Ord's house.
Really?
Went to his house and watched it there. That was a very, very long time ago. And
must have been a very long time ago.
Super young, and I was crap then as well.
Locusts and that. Locusts. You like that?
Have you seen Ian Ord now? He's proper like
massive.
I wouldn't mess with him like.
No, not me. Scary guy.
All right, let's get on this with these comments here. The Real Fifth Beatle, Dharma was over. It was, wasn't it? Too many episodes, dude. Why? I don't know why they stretched it out. They always do all these. Yeah, they always stretch things out too far. It looks like they're setting up a John Wayne Gacy show. Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised.
You can't beat the John Wayne Gacy movie with that Brian Dennehy in. Do you ever see that? The TV movie?
No, I never saw that. I remember seeing it in the video shop, but I never saw it.
Fucking good, mate. Get it watched. Honestly, get it watched. He's brilliant in it. Like he literally is John Wayne Gacy. I've read a lot of that case file. I know quite a lot about that one. And
is he still alive? That guy, Brian Dennehy.
Oh, he's dead.
He's good. He's good in everything. Everything I've seen of him, he's good. I've not seen him do like a bad role ever. He's just like solid. He's like dependable. Like if you know what Brian Dennehy's in, he's gonna be good.
Yeah, one of the better character actors that have ever graced movies for me, like Brian Dennehy.
I know that movie. Have you seen Gladiator with what's his name? That dude from Twin Peaks and Cuba Gooding Jr.
Yeah. I like that.
That's it's on Freevee. If you haven't seen it for a long time, I just watched it recently. It's a super good movie. It's on Freevee. It's on Freevee. There's loads of good movies on Freevee, man. I think they've just got the rights to a bunch of Lionsgate MGM movies. Right. So there's like a bunch of good stuff on there. Like there's a bunch of like Stephen King movies on there, Needful Things, and the Dark Half just come on there. Yeah, man, you should check out Freevee, man. They're getting really, really good movies on, and there's not many adverts in there either. You get 2-3 adverts in there, but yeah, I definitely recommend. Because I always get, you go on Prime and it's like same old stuff on Prime. It's been there for ages and they don't put new stuff on. But Freevee, man, they're putting new stuff on all the time.
I like a bit of that, mate. I will be browsing it. Hi.
Watch They Them. I did watch They Them and I did not like it. It was just far too gay. And no, I didn't like that one bit. And I didn't like the ending and I didn't like anything about that movie. Even Kevin Bacon couldn't save that movie.
I've not seen it.
Don't
But it's
watch it,
Kevin
man.
Bacon.
It's pointless. You watch it and you go, that was just everything is just wrong about that movie. It was bad. It was bad. So yeah, I agree with you, man. And Hellbent was crap. I watched it. You actually watched it, dude. It's not quite as bad as you would expect. Okay. Dave Boosty. I did like Exorcist 3. That was pretty cool. It was good enough fun. Yeah, man. I don't know if anybody knows. It's pretty much my favorite movie ever. I'm looking forward to Chucky season 2 next week. No, there's another one that it just went too gay, man. It's too much like the last few Chucky films, which are all shit. After 4, all the Chucky films is just rubbish. I wouldn't piss on them. They're so bad, and they lean into that crapness in the Chucky TV series. Have you seen it? It's super gay as well.
I've seen about 4 episodes of the first season.
I gave up. Yeah, I watched the first about 3 or 4, and I was struggling to get through them, and I was like, nah, I can't take this, man.
No,
ruined Chucky, man. They proper ruined it.
I like Devon Sawyer. You know, I'll pretty much watch anything.
It doesn't last long. Oh, actually, it's a double part. It's got a double part in that.
Because he played twin brothers or something like that. But no, I've not picked it back up, mate, and it's not something that that's bugging me that I'm not picking it back up. But maybe I'm missing out. I don't know.
Yeah. Let's have a look here. Mr. San, Friday the 13th, Part 3. Now, all right, is as an alternate to Hellbent. Yeah, we don't have any. You know, nobody mentioned anything Friday the 13th. Nobody mentioned anything Nightmare on Elm Street.
No.
A bunch of those movies I've not seen in a long time. Appreciate your honesty, Vass. I'm very honest. I'm very people. I don't know. I rub people the wrong way sometimes because I just say things and they take everything the wrong way. But hey, it's just my opinion, guys. Dave Boosty, there's a movie that came out a while ago called Haunt. Which is pretty decent and fun. I give it an 8 out of Boosty 10. I think you've overrated that movie, mate. I did not like Haunt.
It's on our list.
I was watching the movie and I was thinking, how if they're all messed up, like their faces are like really messed up, and I'm thinking, well, how do they organize this Haunt where and their faces like look like they do? How do they manage to do that? And it's one of those movies where everything is like, I don't know, all the traps and things. It's like it's so well organized. It's like how do they know these people were going to go in these places? And I don't know. It was so contrived. I don't know.
Well, maybe, mate, on day 26, you get to watch it again, and you might.
It's not on our list, is it? It's on our list.
Day 26.
Oh, flip! Is it? Oh well. Matthew Binney says Bloody Moon 1981. I've not seen that movie. No, there you go. Got one thing for change. My son said change as well. There's 2 more people to say let's changed. Hellbent for a different movie. You should watch The Prowler Vass or My Bloody Valentine. We have got an alternate already because we couldn't find a movie that was recommended. I don't know if it was a mistake in the comments, but I couldn't even find the existence of this movie. It was called There Too. Is that right, Pete? It was called There Too. There too, yeah. And
it just doesn't exist.
It does not exist. So we did swap it out for the Prowler. So the Prowler in a couple of days' time, the Prowler's there. I've managed to find it as well, so I've got that ready to watch. And I have seen it. I have seen the Prowler, but it's super long time ago.
I have not seen the Prowler, so I'm looking forward to it.
Absolutely, man. And My Bloody Valentine, people absolutely adore the original My Bloody Valentine, and I like it for the gore. But it's not one of the movies that like really speaks to me, to be honest with you. What do you think of My Bloody Valentine, mate?
Same, exactly the same, mate. It's just another.
I love the cover, and I love the look of the slasher, like the dude with the miner's mask on. All that stuff's super cool. But I don't know, the movie doesn't really do anything for us.
Yeah.
Mr. Sa- yes, we are. Got to change, okay. That's not cheating, is it? It's 2 people in my family. Let me change it. One person to say change. And answers change. Awesome, mate. Now we need to figure out another slasher to replace Hellbent.
Yeah.
So if anybody has any ideas, we'll take a few and we'll pick the one that we want. I think that seems fair enough.
Cool.
That's what we should have done last week, Pete. I'm telling you, we should have got everyone's recommendations for each week, each theme and picked 7 out of them. So if they picked like 15 or something, we should have picked the 7 we wanted. Instead of picking everyone's first choice.
But
I mean, Mike picked Gremlins 2, and I don't even think that's a horror film, dude. Gremlins 2 ain't no horror film. Gremlins 1, I'd say a horror, but Gremlins 2 ain't no horror film, dude. What do you think?
It's not horror.
Sorry, Hassan. Sorry, mate. It's not horror.
It's not. Yeah, it's not. It's not.
Okay. Real Fifth Builder really likes Haunt, and yeah, man, we've definitely got to change. It's got 5 people now.
Okay,
We can't change
we'll
it.
get that changed then.
Yeah, I mean, nobody wants to watch this movie, man. Nobody wants to watch it. Although I know Nos from Pro Physical Media was like, I think he's the one who suggested it. Pretty sure he did it just because he wants us to watch it and say what we like about it. But I don't want to go through that torture of watching that movie. So that's great. That's if anything has come out of tonight, it's that I don't have to watch this movie. So that's really good. Dutch film buff. I think you should watch The Gate. I don't want to, mate. I really, really don't want to. It's just not my cup of tea.
We've got the changes that are in play now anyway. It's a done deal.
Dave Boosty. I can't get my words out today. Ah, yes, Fifth Beatle, indeed, yeah. Savage Zombie Reviews. I miss HMV. We only had one on the Isle of Man and it closed down. Broke my heart.
Wow.
Yeah, a lot of them did close down. I remember the online HMV. I used to buy a lot of stuff online, and then that closed down, and then it's opened back up again now, hasn't it?
We've still got one in Edinburgh, and it's quite a big one. It's got a good movie selection, but I would say it's 50% movies and 50% vinyl. And vinyl's blown up like, and there's no idea vinyl. Who knew? Yeah. But yeah.
Savage Zombie Reviews. You guys looking forward to Hellraiser out this Friday? It's out this Friday.
That was Friday, yeah. Yeah, I am. Right. I'm looking forward to it. I'm hearing good things about it as well.
You are? Yeah. I haven't seen the trailer. I've seen a few stills of the Lady Pinhead. Which, I don't know. I don't quite understand how that works because each Cenobite has got their own look, but she's like got Pinhead's look. How does that? Is she like his wife or something? Or
I think you've got to have a representation of Pinhead for a Hellraiser movie. If you didn't, folk wouldn't embrace it. The Hellraiser movie, so it's you have to.
So is Pinhead turned into a lady? Is that what it is?
Well, it's from what I gather, mate, it's kind of a sexless thing, if that makes any sense. I don't think she's male. She's female. Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Okay. Well, we'll see. I don't know, man, those last few Hellraisers. There's one that came out a couple of years ago, and honestly, man, it was sick, man. There was bits where people were puking, and anyway, I watched about 10 minutes of it, and I just couldn't watch it. I thought this is not for
I think this is, from what I hear, this is a bit more high quality.
I hope it's got a good story, and shows. Actually, when we watched, we're going to talk about Jacob's Ladder pretty soon. A lot of the imagery in there reminds me of Hellraiser, especially when he gets where he gets kidnapped by those dudes who were like saying, "You've been talking too much. You've been looking into this these experiments and everything." And they took him out, and he managed to escape out the car. And he hurts his back, and he gets wheeled in on into the hospital. And they say, "Take him down for X-rays," and they take him down, and there's blood and guts and body parts everywhere, and he looks up and there's on the grill and there's all these weird characters on there, and that was proper Hellraiser stuff. That was, man.
Absolutely, mate. Absolutely. I mean, it's a fucking. I mean, again, we'll talk about it more and more detail. Yeah. In fact, we'll talk about it more later because that scene's brilliant, and we'll definitely talk about that soon.
Oh, it is. Savage Zombie Reviews would rather shit in my hands and clap than watch Exorcist 2 again. Yeah. The one thing I'll give Exorcist 2 is it's a nice looking film. Like it's a well shot.
It's John Borman, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. Yeah,
he was a good filmmaker. So
it's just boring as shit.
Yeah,
and it's not scary. So there you go. That's the two things you need. Ant says First Blood and Gladiator are the best he's done. Yeah, I'll go along with that.
Yeah. Fair play. He's great.
Yeah. What about FX? Murder by Illusion. He was good in them as well. I haven't seen those in years.
Movies,
I really enjoyed those movies.
Yeah, totally.
The Dutch film buff, that was a made for TV movie with Dennehy. Yeah.
I think it was released in 2 parts, if
Parts.
if I'm not mistaken, and I do believe that Brian Denny he won a prize, maybe not an Emmy. I think he got won an Emmy for his performance.
Real Fifth Beatle, not a fan of Hellraiser. Now, the Hellraiser 2, Hellbound, I absolutely adore that movie. The first one, I'm not as big a fan as most people, and
I like Hellraiser
3 I
1
like.
and 2.
Yeah, 3 is fun. It's fun anyway. I think it's fun, but
I
2
hate
is
3.
the one. I like 2 a lot. You don't like 3?
I hate 3. It's
I like all the different Cenobites in 3 that they do with the discs in his head and that.
Yeah. Do you know what? I watched a show a couple of weeks ago and they were talking about Hellraiser 3, and somebody in that show referred to it as the McDonald's of the Hellraiser franchise, and I couldn't agree more. It's like something that it basically, I think it dropped into the fucking Weinstein's lap. I think it was the Weinstein's first ever movie, Hellraiser 3. They got that and they pretty much locked the director out and edited it and cut it to shit and all that, and which is why we ended up with and it masquerades as like, oh, hell on earth and everything like that. But you know, when it goes to the part outside the nightclub, like there's no one.
Isn't that the last one with Doug Bradley as Pinhead? That was the last one, wasn't it? They changed him after that.
I don't know. I think they changed him about part 5, but to be honest with you, I've never seen part 5, part 6, part 7. There's so many of them. I've never seen it. I like 1 and 2, and from what I hear, the new one, they're leaning very much into Clive Barker's Hellraiser and Hellraiser 2. So it's going back to that kind of. It's not going to be a happy.
Ant says there's a film called Trick you can change for Hellbent. I think we already kicked out Trick, didn't we, last week? Thank God, because I flipping hate that movie.
Yeah.
No,
someone
we ain't watching Trick, mate. We ain't not watching Trick. Sorry, we're just not watching it. Real Fifth Beatle, House of the Devil is on Plex. I haven't got Plex.
It's on our list. House of the Devil.
Yeah. Can't wait to watch that, man.
Yep.
The Lost Boys. It's not a slasher. If it was a slasher, we would stick it in there.
Next week.
Yeah. We still need a recommendation for a slasher movie to replace with Hellbent. So far, we've got Friday the 13th Part 3. If there's anyone else got any more suggestions of one, we need to block one in, because it's just in a few days. We need to get it watched. Is it Slasher Week next week? All slashers.
Yeah.
Dave Boosty, to me, James Earl Jones wasn't 2 totally different movies in the year 1977. Star Wars and The Exorcist 2, with both the same year. Wow.
It's been that long since I've seen Exorcist 2. I didn't even realize James Earl Jones was in it.
Dave Boosty, James Earl Jones was in 2 different movies that year. Sorry, typo. Yeah, no worries, man. We got it. Totally got it. Real Fifth Beatle, I hope Hellfest and Hell House LLC are on your list. Is Hellfest on the list? No?
I don't think so.
I'm not a fan of those Hell House movies. Like,
I watched the first one. I thought it was all right.
I watched them all, but I don't. Not my cup of tea.
No, not on the list. Spanish movie Bloody Moon. I'm liking the sound of this.
Okay, this is the 1981 that was mentioned before. Bloody Moon, 1981.
I have no idea. I have no idea. I'll have a look.
Right, look it up. See if it's a slasher, and we'll have 2 recommendations there.
Okay.
Give Slaughter High 1986 a go.
I was thinking about Slaughter High the other day.
Yeah. Right. Put that as a recommendation, and I told you that story, didn't I, Pete, about Slaughter High? And you told me about Slaughter High when we were kids.
Yeah.
And you told me Slaughter High. You told me the story of the movie, and I'd never not seen the movie. And you did it. Oh, I've seen that poster. I've seen that somewhere before.
Oh.
Yeah, it's Slaughter High. You told me about the movie, and you explained it so well. And it sounded to me like the best movie ever in the whole world. And you told me it so well. I told someone in my school, because we went to different schools, didn't we? And I told them about Slaughter High, like using how you described it.
Uh-huh.
And the kids didn't believe that I hadn't watched the movie because you explained it so well. and I just explained like you did. And they were like, "Oh, you must have seen the movie." And I'm like, "No, I haven't seen it. Just like my best friend told us about it, and they were like, "Oh, you must have seen it. You explained it like so brilliantly." I'm like, "Because he explained it so brilliantly."
There you go. There you go. No,
It was years before I
that.
actually saw the movie, and it's a good movie, man. It wasn't as good as your telling of the movie, but it was a good movie.
Do you know what?
Far too much male gratuitous nudity in that movie, though. In
Yeah.
Slaughter High, that's the one thing I don't like about it. The real Fifth Beatle, Dave, it's terrible. I think you might be talking about Trick. Because that movie is terrible. Change it, yeah, man. Look, definitely going to change it. I'm so happy that everyone's on my side and not picking the shitty movies like I mentioned last week. Oh, please, I hope this movie's not picked. That movie's not picked, and everyone picked those same bloody movies. Never mind. Dave Boosty, I can recommend the movie called Haunt that came out a bit ago. That was pretty fun and took place in a funhouse type one, yeah. It's not a slasher movie and it's Halloween related, so it's
Halloween movie.
It's not a lady, Vass. What does that mean?
Hellraiser.
Oh, the Hellraiser. It's not a lady. It looked like a lady to me. The movie Haunt was pretty good, I say, yeah. And I know a lot of people do really dig that movie. It's just
do you know what?
I couldn't see.
Dutch mentioned this last week, and I was kind of wanting to watch this one. Should we put this on? Because I really want to watch it.
Is it all right? Okay, let's put it on the list, and in a bit we'll go through them and we'll pick one out. I wouldn't mind watching that movie either. If it's not too hard to find. Real Fifth Beatle. It's Trans Pinhead. There you go. That's not the recommendation I want to hear. Dave Boosty, Hellraiser Judgment. I didn't like that much at all. I thought the Auditor was a good character, but the rest of it was total garbage. Shite. A 2 out of a Boosty 10. There's only one Hellraiser I like that of the later ones, and that's the one with Craig Sheffer in it. And it's like it's like a detective movie, but it's got Pinhead in, and I think it was Inferno, Hellraiser Inferno, I think it's called. That one was decent because it has a decent story in it. That one was decent.
I'm pretty sure
it's one of those movies. It's one of those movies, Pete, where it was not made as a Hellraiser movie. It made it as a completely different type, and they thought if we change a few bits, we can put it in as a Hellraiser movie, and that's what they did. They kind of tweaked it to fit it as a Hellraiser movie, but it's really just like a detective movie.
Didn't I see a Hellraiser movie with fucking Henry Cavill and Superman?
Is he?
I'm pretty sure I saw a Hellraiser movie with Superman in it. Can anybody tell me which one that was? But I'm pretty sure I watched a Hellraiser movie with Superman in it recently.
All right.
That was just on in the background.
Yeah. Ant says Doug Bradley did up to 8 or 9 Hellraisers. Really, I could have sworn they swapped him out quite early on.
Doug Bradley likes money. Money.
Dave Boosty, I was at the Hellraiser Convention Anniversary Convention 1997 Boston Expo Center. I got to meet and have a cigarette with Doug Bradley and got to meet Chatterer and Butterball and autograph photos too. That's wicked, man. Awesome. Chatterer is my favorite character in Hellraiser. Yeah, I think he's awesome, man. Did you ever watch my comedy video? It was Gloria Estefan versus Hellraiser. No? It's Dr. Beat. You know the song Dr. Beat? Yeah, but I call it Dr. Cenobeat. And it's the Doctor from Hellraiser 2. It's like a music video with Hellraiser in. It's bloody good, man.
I'm going to check that out, Vass. Straight away I'm thinking to myself, you must have been quiet that day, Vass. There must have been
that bugger as well.
On the table that day.
Yeah. Ant says Final Exam slasher. I've not seen that one. Have you seen Final Exam?
No, I've not.
I think that's one of the very early 80s slashers, isn't it? So stick down the list as well, dude.
Yeah.
And then, so we've got Bloody Moon as well. It's got some really good suggestions here.
Yeah.
Yes, Bloody Moon 1981.
I like that cover, I have to say.
Yeah. Dave Boosty, Doug Bradley's last one that I know of that he was in was Hellworld, which was like part 9, I think. All right, okay. There you go. I don't know where I got that from, then that he was only in the first few. Substituted with a movie called Haunt. Can't make it. It's not a slasher. It's not. Let me just I'm taking too long here. I can't find it, dude.
We look for.
I was looking for a video to all the suggestions.
Thanks for the advice.
There you go. That took a while. Savage Zombie Reviews. Yeah, Henry Cavill was in Hellworld, I think.
Thank you. Thank you. So I've seen Hellworld.
Right, should we go on to review these movies, dude?
Yes.
So, week 1 for 31 Days of Halloween. So it was October the 1st yesterday, October the 2nd today. So it's only 2 movies to review. Next week's going to be 7 movies. I don't know, man, Pete. I'm sure we said for the first week, for these first 2 movies, we wanted like the most messed up, grotesque sort of movies. Yeah. The ones.
Yeah. I mean, the category was fucked up movies, mate.
I mean, would you put Starry Eyes as that? Because I don't think I would.
Well, it's. I mean, the end. It's kind of fucked up, and it is. You know, it's no martyrs, that's for sure. Or you know, I think when we said fucked up movies, we thought that possibly you guys were going to chuck Cannibal Holocaust.
I spit in your grave.
Or something
extreme,
like that.
Extreme,
extreme horror. Exactly that. To a certain extent, like I said last week, I was pleased that there was a couple of titles that we dodged, so that's good. But I don't know. Shall I start by just explaining what Starry Eyes is about before we get into?
You can put spoilers in as well. The movie's like 8 years old, so I don't think it's a problem.
Absolutely. So Starry Eyes is about an aspiring actress called Sarah.
She's pretty.
Who's moved to LA to pursue her acting dream. She's taken acting classes. And also working at some kind of Hooters restaurant, but Hooters with potatoes. It's Tato's place, Tato World, or something like that.
Yeah.
And her boss is played by the wonderful Pat Healy, who's a fucking fantastic actor, and he's in great movies like Cheap Thrills and Compliance. If you haven't seen them, movies. Anyway,
he doesn't do much in this movie, like, does he?
Say again.
He doesn't do much in this movie.
He doesn't do this much in the movie. It's just reassuring to see him in there. I like Pat Healy, he's a great actor.
I've never heard of the dude, I'll be honest with you.
Oh, mate, if you
Carry
haven't seen Compliance, go see it. Anyway,
I've seen Cheap Thrills. I've not seen Compliance.
Compliance is a stunning film, and it's a true story as well, which is, it'll blow your mind. Halfway through it, you'll be like, this can't be true. And it's so... Anyway, right, I digress. So, Sarah is pursuing her acting career, and she lives in a development block. She shares a flat with her friend, a long-time. I got the impression it was a long-term friend. Mm-hmm. And there are other gang of aspiring actors / directors that are also in her kind of social circle. One night, she sees an advertisement in a paper from a studio, very much kind of like, it reminded me very much of a Dimension Pictures studio. I think there's certain parallels to Harvey Weinstein's story in this movie and Dimension Pictures. I got the impression they were referencing Dimension Pictures. But anyway, so she responds to an advert who are looking for essentially a final girl for their new horror movie. She goes in and, I should probably mention that she's quite a fragile girl. Okay.
She is, man. Emotionally,
from frame one of the movies, she's already, she's got anxiety issues. She pulls out her hair when she gets anxious, that kind of thing. She gets called in for an audition where she reads
Silver Scream, isn't it? The movie Silver Scream.
Silver Scream, that's right. The reading doesn't go very well. She then goes into the bathroom and trashes the bathroom, hand rocks the cradle style. And she's overheard.
Pull the hair out. Starts pulling her hair out as well.
Out. She's overheard by one of the casting directors who says, "Maybe we."
They're creepy as anything. Those casting people, aren't they? It's so
very creepy, mate. Very, very creepy. They pull her back in and say, "Do that again. What you did in the toilet," which she does, and they very much like that. And then I'm not going to go into every scene. She essentially gets another call back where she meets the producer of the movie, and he is this older gentleman who's basically promising her the world, the silver screen, posters in the lobby. She's going to be famous. She's going to have the world at her feet. What would you do? He asks her, what would you do? And she says, anything. So he proceeds, so he proceeds to start trying to touch her up, which she panics and runs away. She then tells all her friends she tells one friend in a social circle that this has happened, and pretty soon they all find out about it, and they proceed to try and make her feel a little bit better than she's feeling about herself, because she's pretty depressed. And they all take some drugs, and they have this little party in a swimming pool. But while she's sat there, she's looking at all these aspiring movie directors who essentially haven't got a hope in hell of reaching their dream, and she thinks, do you know what? I'm going to go back and suck that guy's dick and realize my dreams. For half an hour of heartache, I'll realize my fucking dream. And I'm high as a kite. I'll probably won't even remember it in the morning. So she goes back, and that's exactly what she does. And in this scene, when this is taking place, there are people watching in mysterious black cloaks. And then when she goes back home after the event, waiting for a contract to arrive and all these fantastic
This is almost an hour into the movie, by the way.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
When she goes back home, bad things start to happen to her. Like David Cronenberg body horror style. She starts
I was thinking the same thing. It's like The Fly. It's like, it reminds me of The Fly.
Yeah.
All the weird stuff happening there. I'm saying that's...
And things go very, very badly. And it's not soon, pretty soon, she realizes that in order to fulfill her destiny, she must kill. And she must kill her social circle. And that's pretty much what the movie, in a nutshell. And also it's worthwhile me saying that, very much the studio heads are portrayed as some kind of devil's cult. Satan worshippers, that kind of thing. And she's very much sold her soul to the devil for this stardom and Starry Eyes.
Not very original, is it, Pete?
Well, I mean, I've seen movies where folk have done this in the past. A similar kind of storyline, right enough. I think and someone needs to correct me if I'm wrong. 2014, it was was that when Me Too originally kicked off, when Weinstein was originally kind of.
I think that was a couple of years after that, Pete.
Was it a couple of years after? Okay. I mean, there are a hell of a lot of parallels you can take with that. I mean, if you're looking at a movie's inner voice, it's probably has a commentary on that. But as a horror movie, it's. I'll start my review bit now, Vas, and then we'll move over to you, because I've got a feeling we'll be very different. As a horror movie, it's a slow burn, and it's a creeper. I thought the lead actress who plays Sarah, I thought she was absolutely superb. And it was, I thought it was a very daring, it was a brave role, because, she had to, physically it looked like it was a tough role. She has to kind of bear all, and not in a kind of hot way or anything like that. She has to ugly down, and she's a very beautiful girl. I would say that the problem is with the main character, although I think she's brilliant in it. She's quite self-centered, and she's very kind of focused and driven on this one goal. So as a viewer, it's hard to be fully empathetic with her, because she treats a boss like shit, and he seems like quite a nice guy, that kind of thing, And there are certain things that, I think the devil was always in her, if that makes any sense. But just
making this shit up, man. Pete. You're making that up.
No, I got the impression, because she. Do you remember when the two girls were next to the swimming pool? One of them falls over and breaks her nose. Automatically, she goes. She just laughs at it, and then the mate goes, "Oh, what are you doing?" And all that. And I was like, So
but that was after she already had the second audition. She'd already.
That was after the first one. That was after the first one. But anyway, that's just my two penneth. I thought she was great. I thought once you get to the bit, bits where we start getting into body horror territory, and then in the end, a full on kind of friend massacre territory. You're watching a horror film. It feels like you're watching a proper horror movie. There is a grueling murder, one in particular, grueling murder in
with
this
the dumbbell.
horror film. Yeah, where she slashes that girl's face, and she keeps on going back to her. I think that's the same girl who's in two of the main segments from Southbound as well. I love that Southbound, that anthology movie, but she's great in that too. Then let me see. So yeah, it goes through the murder, and then she kind of transforms completely towards the end, goes bald, which I didn't quite get. The ending kind of loses me a little bit, I have to say. This is my second viewing of the movie. I'm pleased to watch it again. I think I rated it more the first time that I saw it than I did the second time. The music is a little jarring sometimes because
I like the music overall.
There's a couple of scenes where it just was a little bit too Casio keyboard. Like I can imagine someone literally knocking it out on a Casio keyboard, not a posh Casio keyboard too, like a $7.99 one with a little sample beats going on. So that kind of took me out of it. So it was a little bit jarring. I'm going to give it a steady 6 out of 10. It was the first time I watched it, mate. To be honest, I was probably a little bit more impressed with it. 7.5, I think I would give it perfect. I'm going to give it a 6 out of 10. The directors of this, I had high hopes that they'd go on to bigger and better things. They got the Pet Sematary remake after this, and I thought, well, this is going to be good.
Same guys, Pet Sematary,
same guys, but the Pet Sematary remake, didn't hit all the notes either, although it had some good aspects to it, for me anyway. It was in 2014. There wasn't really much going on in cinema horror, so at that time I was very much looking at independent cinema for my horror movies, and movies like Starry Eyes, Contracted, Proxy were all coming out on the indie circuit. So I was consuming quite a lot of them, and I think Starry Eyes was my favorite out of those American independent horror movies that were coming out at that time.
I didn't like it all, Pete. I thought it was shit. I thought it was absolute rubbish. I thought the first 2/3 was unconvincing. Like her motives and everything. Nothing made sense, man, to me. I like the last act. I enjoyed when it actually turned into a horror film, but the rest of it, man, I did not like it one little bit. And you know what the weird thing was at the end of the movie where she's transformed.
Yep.
If you look at the first shot of the movie, how she looked there and how she looks at the end, she looks exactly the same. She's not like she transformed into this like superstar. She looked exactly the same when she put a wig on and everything and got dressed up. She looks exactly the same as she did at the beginning of the movie. I don't get it. I do not get it. I mean, what exactly did she transform into? And then it just finishes. It just finishes like that. I don't get it, mate.
Well,
and all the dudes in the black robes.
I don't think because of budget you were ever going to see her going to movie premieres in the movie or anything like that. We just didn't have the budget.
If it started off ordinary and then at the end she was like, "Oh, this spectacular woman," it would have made a bit more sense. But she was dead on exactly the same as she looks at the beginning of the movie. But then at the end she's just like she sold her soul and she's evil and that's it. And then it just finishes.
Sold her soul evil, but she's about to become part of this Hollywood machine. I don't know whether they're trying to say that all actors and actresses have at some point sold the souls to get there, or
I've always thought that, Pete. In real life, I'm pretty sure it's not far from the truth.
Yeah.
But I'm very cynical, so I would say that anyway.
Oh, but, perfect. Out of 10, Vass, what are you giving that?
I'll give it a. If it was just the last third of the movie, like the last act, I'll give it a solid 7, but the rest of it I'll give maybe a 4. It was mildly interesting. It was barely a horror film. It was super slow, man. It was so slow. And I didn't like I wasn't like invested in any single character in the movie whatsoever. It was like
Did you not feel bad when a mate or a so-called friend, the one who gets slashed in the face, is kind of constantly chipping away everything she kind of achieves.
She was a bitch anyway. I didn't really mind. She was a bitch anyway. In the whole movie, she was a bitch, and then she got killed. But I didn't understand her motive for killing all the friends. I didn't get that. That he said that she had to do this sacrifice to kill all the mates. Who told her to do that exactly?
I think she takes that phone. she takes that phone call when she's on the floor, and what I took from that phone call, it's basically saying, you know, do it, and I think also
how come after she gets out of the bath and she's like her hair's falling out, she could barely crawl to the phone, answer the phone, and as soon as she's finished off the phone, she's up and killing people, and she's got all this bloody energy and strength. I'm like, what? How'd that happen?
I think it's because the power of the Antichrist compelled her.
Yeah, of course, yeah.
That's my only explanation. I thought, hang fire, you were fucked 2 seconds ago. You've got your hoodie on now. You're all right. You're running around chasing people about.
And she managed to kill like 4 people, no problem whatsoever. It was like, nah, man.
Yeah, and there's also that bit where she's with a mate just before she throws all that money at her, and she's like, "What?" She's like, "I'm hungry, but I can't eat anything." And she's like, "What's that smell? Is it? Yeah. Is it you?" And I think that very much kind of gives the hint that she's got to do a mating for, you know, either whether it's she needs to taste blood or certainly get blood or whatever. I think that hinted at that you need to do this.
I don't know, man. She comes home and she hasn't eaten. She can't eat, and she runs into the kitchen and she gets a yogurt, and she tries eating the yogurt, and I'm like, she's in the kitchen. There's a sink there. It's a fucking spoons and things right there. Why does she have to eat it with the fingers like that? What are you doing? There's a spoon right there. Just pick up the spoon and eat it. She's ramming all this food in her mouth and then spits it out. I'm like, come on, man. What's wrong with you?
Listen, would Reagan out The Exorcist go and get that spoon from the cupboard? No.
But she wasn't possessed though, was she? She was just feeling like she had to feel like crap and then let herself go for this other entity to come inside her and like give herself up to whatever it was. But nah, I didn't like any of it.
Okay.
I don't even know why she came. I don't even know why she went for the second interview. It didn't make any sense. I didn't understand any of it. None of it made any sense.
Well, Vasi, that's why I like talking about movies with you, mate, because I get sometimes we agree, sometimes we are polar opposites. I wouldn't say we're polar opposites on this one. Like I say, it diminished in quality for me on the second video.
It had issues.
Say again?
It had issues, man.
Yeah,
big issues.
I would agree with that.
All right, let's get back to the comments because I think we're a bit behind.
Okay.
Henry Cavill was in Hellworld. Savage Zombie Reviews. Back in the day, I was working with Henry Cavill on a movie called I Captured the Castle, and he was talking about he was off to do a Hellraiser movie. I think it came out in 2003, 2004.
Holy shit!
Yeah, I think I saw it on Savage Zombie. Yeah. I think he uploaded some on his channel, like him like as a character in the movie, like showed a clip of a movie and he's there, behind the main characters, which was pretty cool.
That's awesome, yeah, totally.
Henry Cavill was in Hellraiser Hellworld. Also, Lance Henriksen was in that one.
Mm-hmm.
Lance Henriksen was also in Hellworld. Yeah, that's about the time when Lance Henriksen was in bloody all kinds of rubbish. I think he was just an actor for hire at that point.
Yeah.
The Dutch film buff. All right, he's recommending Alice, Sweet Alice, Psycho 2. I love Psycho 2. House and Sorority Row, which is not a bad movie. The Final Terror. I'm not sure if I've seen that one. Some other great slashes. Gonna watch a movie. Have a nice stream. Jacob's Ladder rules. Bye. Thank you very much for dropping by, Dutch film buff. And this is true. Jacob's Ladder is a fantastic film. And to Lost Boy, I went to see Censor. Is it any good? I want to see Censor. Is it any good? I prefer 80s horror, as you know, Vass. So I'm not up to newer films. I enjoyed Censor. You know, I was watching the Blonde movie, and they did a weird thing where the aspect ratio kept changing. But it was super arbitrary the way they were doing it. Like all of a sudden, scenes were in like widescreen, and then they went into. But I didn't understand why. And sometimes it went black and white, sometimes it went color, but there didn't seem to be any rhyme or reason to it. I didn't understand that at all.
No.
I know it was like an artistic choice, but like there needs to be some sort of, you know, sense to it. But they were just doing it like just randomly. I thought that was really strange. A few times I understood why they did it, like when they were showing like magazine, her in a magazine or whatever. But Censor does the same thing at the end, but it's really clever in Censor. Where the way slowly you don't even realize it's happening, the aspect ratio like slowly changes, and then she's inside the movie at the end. But Censor is a good movie. It's another one that's pretty slow, but when it gets going, it's definitely a good movie. Yeah, I do recommend Sense. I enjoyed it very much. Did you like it, Pete?
I did. I watched it. I streamed it when it was on Sundance. When during COVID, you could stream all the premieres, and you'd pay like $9.99 and just watch all these brand new movies. So I watched it then, and yeah, dug it, man. You know, the BBFC board. I knew about what they were talking about the bands and everything like that, and the scenes of getting the video shots, the under the counter videos, and all that kind of thing. It was nice. But
it was co-written by Kim Newman, wasn't it? Did he not co-write it or something?
I have no idea, but that wouldn't surprise me given the subject matter and everything like that. But it struck me as another woman going crazy movie, like a la Saint Maud, that kind of thing. And I don't mind them movies. I don't mind them movies at all. But yeah, it was good. It was horrific and stuff like that.
Definitely decent. Yeah, I was happy I watched it. It was just really slow at the beginning, but yeah, it was definitely a decent movie. Dave Bushy, not too many great slashes have come out that I can think of, except maybe the brand new Scream movie, which I did not like. I didn't like Scream 5, man. I didn't like Scream 4, and I didn't like Scream 5 either. Don't know why they had to kill Dewey off. Dewey was the only decent character in it, and they killed him off. Spoiler alert! They did. Dave Boosty, I got to see the movie Mad Men in theaters for free, thanks to Projectionist friend. Then that's kind of a decent slasher type movie, sort of a little on the Friday the 13th side.
I've seen that, man.
I've never heard of it.
I've seen it. No, it's good. I think it's on. I want to say it's either been on Shudder or is on Shudder, but it's readily available. It is kind of like Friday the 13th, rip off type of thing, but in a good way.
Madman, Madman, right?
Madman.
I've seen the movie an old movie called Madman. Madman Mars. Is that the same movie? That's an old movie though. That's an old movie though, isn't it?
Like 80s,
All right.
82, 83.
Oh, okay. So you're talking about that old movie, Right, I'm with it. I have seen Madman, and yeah, it's a good movie, man. I like the story of Madman Mars. I think it's really interesting. Dave Boosty, Hatchet was also a decent slasher movie, but I'm sure everybody he's already seen that as well. So to suggest that might be a little repetitive, I know, yeah. Stick on the list, Pete. I'm not a fan of any of those Hatchet movies, but
it's been a while since I've seen Hatchet.
Yeah. It's much for the gore. There's not much else to it, to be honest. And it's got some good actors in it as well. Ant says Silent Madness slasher. I've not heard of that one, Pete. Have you heard of Silent Madness?
Never heard of it, man. Never heard of it.
Stick it down the list. Need to see Silent Madness. Is that a new movie or is that a super old one? I have no idea.
I'm gonna look it up.
The Real Fifth Beatle, getting major nostalgia vibes for Vass's t-shirt, but it should say hero. Yeah, it should. It should, yeah. Heroes in a half shell. Dave Boosty. Another movie I got to see in the theaters for free, thanks to Projection's friend back then, is a movie called Curtains. I've been meaning to watch Curtains. It's on streaming. I think it's on Freevee. I think it's on Freevee. Came out in the 80s and kind of fun and kind of good.
Do you know The Curtains and The Lift are two movies that I really like the artwork of? Oh, and I've never seen either of them.
Yeah, I've seen The Lift. I think it's Dutch or something, isn't it? The
Dutch.
Lift.
Yeah, Dutch.
Yeah. But it was okay. It was okay. Let's have a look here. Dave Boosty, the movie Curtains was kind of a slasher type movie. Yeah, I think it is a slasher. I didn't rate X, and neither did we. We didn't like that movie, did we, Pete? Very much.
It's on our list.
Yeah, I know. That was my fault. I shouldn't have mentioned that. I do not want to watch that movie, and then
it's all right.
It got recommended. Real Fifth Beatle, Curtains bored the hell out of me. Dave Boosty, I like the atmosphere and the mask. Yeah, I think I've seen the trailer for Curtains, and it's a cool little mask. It was kind of okay. They were trying to do something fun with the movie Curtains. Plus, I felt it had that old movie quality to it, sort of like the 50s or something. I think I might check that one out. To me, it wasn't all that exciting, Dave Boosty says, but I thought some of the imagery was kind of cool and some of the kills were all right. Plus, John Vernon was fun. He's always fun, man. He's in Killer Clowns, isn't he, as well?
Yeah.
Yeah. Savage Zombie Reviews. Yeah, Henry Cavill went on to have a better career than me.
Oh.
That's just the way it comes out sometimes. Ant says, "I'm the slasher master. Not many have not seen." Yeah, I'm not a huge fan of slasher movies, Pete. I don't know why, but I just never got it. They're all samey, aren't they?
I like,
if they've got
a whodunit slasher, mate. If there's a whodunit aspect to the slasher,
okay,
I'm all in.
Well, the mostly were though, weren't they? In the 80s, they were mostly whodunits.
In the early days, yeah, it was like whodunit. Yeah. But then, but to be fair, in saying that, sorry, the spider. In saying that, you know, I do love me Friday the 13th movies, and there's no whodunit aspect to that. You know what I mean? They are just gore for the sake of gore, but it's a bloody, you know, it's a fun time. You know,
it's all the kills. It's about the kills, isn't it?
Yeah.
Dave Boosty, I'd like to say 52 years old. I've seen most of all the slashers. I don't think I've seen all of them, though, or at least not yet. Most of them, especially in the 90s, are really terrible looking. Yeah, man, 90s movies, they looked horrible. They had this weird sort of TV look.
Yeah,
I noticed that too. Shame nobody mentioned Dr. Giggles, because I'm a big fan of Dr. Giggles, but never mind. The Real Fifth Beatle. Do you guys remember Jack the Ripper from 88, amazing TV movie? Oh, that's the one with Michael Caine in. That was like, I think it was in 2 or 3 parts, and that was actually scary, man. Remember that Jack the Ripper TV movie with Michael Caine? If you can find it anywhere, it's like it's very, very
man. Michael Caine. So I think Michael plays a detective. Yeah.
Yeah. He's
right. Okay.
Yeah, that's a good one. Man.
Okay. I like a good Jack the Ripper yarn. James Spears.
Yeah, there's another one.
Jack Spark.
That was a good bad at all.
I enjoyed it.
It was, yeah.
I think that was 88. 88.
I think you're exactly right there, mate.
Yeah,
88.
Good stuff.
Right, should we get on with Jacob's Ladder? I'm looking forward to talking about Jacob's Ladder.
Let's get on with it. I think for this one, Vass, why don't you go first and you talk about what this movie's about, and then I'll jump in after you.
Right on, mate. Let me just, I've just done something with my screen now. I don't know what I've done. There we go. Right, I'm going to have to use my notes here, man, Pete.
No problem.
It's hard watching a movie and writing notes at the same time. I was like, I thought I'd better write some notes on this one.
Quite right.
Right. Yeah. So Jacob's Ladder is about this dude called Jacob Singer, and he let me just get that off the screen. 2 seconds, dude. Comments off. And he was in the Vietnam War. The movie starts. We get it's actually quite a lot like House, where you have all these flashbacks from the Vietnam War, and as they progress, you see a little bit more, just like you do in the old House movie. And he wakes up from a flashback. He's on a train, and everything's just a little bit off, a little bit strange. He talks to a woman on the train, and she's just got this dead look and just staring at the dude. And then he sees a homeless dude, and he sees something strange about the guy. His face is covered, and as he's walking out, he sees like a little tail sticking out, and he's like, that's strange. So he gets off the train, and he's in the train station, and it's all locked up. So he tries to cross over, and there's a train coming, and he can't work out which track the train's on, and he's like, and he falls down the side, and the train goes past, and you see all these weird faces in the train, and at the back the driver is like got no face, and the driver just waves at him and goes, ooh. and he comes home and tells his girlfriend that he's been seeing weird things and he should go see a doctor or something. So he goes to the VA hospital, and he tries to see his doctor, and the receptionist woman is like has got no record of him being at the VA hospital, and then he sees he has a big argument with her, saying, I need to see the doctor, and then she's looking through her notes, her hat kind of falls down. She sees this bony shit coming out of the head, and he's like, "This is weird. What's going on here?" And he's going looking for the doctor, and then he finds out that the doctor's been killed in a car explosion. So he goes home, and then it turns out that he was married to this woman called Sarah, and he's got 3 kids. And one of the kids died in an accident, and he's really full of grief about that. And he keeps getting these flashbacks about the Vietnam War, but he can't remember what happened. And then he goes to a party, and it's full of people, and everything's normal at first, and then everything just changes. Everything strobes, and he starts seeing weird stuff again, flappy, devilish, demony things, and he has like a fit or something. It's a real cool scene. He sees the vibrating head, and he sees someone who looks like the devil, and the thing's like vibrating, and he's like, "Whoa, what?" And he has a fit, and then he wakes up in his bed, and he's like, his girlfriend comes to him and says, "Are you all right?" And takes his temperature, and he's super hot, and he called the doctor, but he's freezing cold. And then she gets off the phone and says, "Look, you're about to die, mate. They've got to get you in a bath full of ice." Sticks him in a bath full of ice, and he's like, "You're killing me," because he's like, his temperature's so hot, but he's just feeling cold, and he just didn't. And then he wakes up in a hospital, and all of a sudden he's like, he's not with his girlfriend, he's with his normal wife, and like actually I think he wakes up in the bed first, isn't it? And he's like, yeah, and he's telling his wife, "I had this weird dream where I wasn't married to you anymore, and I was with this woman from the post office," because he's a postal worker, and then keeps skipping backwards and forwards between being with his wife and then being with this girl, and he gets a call from an old mate that he was in Vietnam with, from his platoon, and that dude says, "I'm seeing weird shit," and he's like, "Oh, me too," and then he gets blown up in a car, and then he. And then what happens after that, Pete? I've totally forgotten. I think I'm going through this.
He goes to the funeral where he meets his
oh right, yeah. He meets the rest of his platoon, and they're all going through the same thing. Yeah. So they go see a lawyer, and they're like saying, "Look, the army's done something to us. They've done these experiments on us. We can't remember what happened. We need to find out what's going on." And but they're all getting. Seems like the army's like putting them off doing anything. They don't want to get involved anymore, and so he's on his own again, and he gets like kidnapped by some dudes saying, "Oh, you're getting too close. Leave it alone," and then he managed to escape them, and he gets put back in the hospital, and all this. It's like he's hurt his back. And he's got this dude, his best friend, who's a chiropractor, who is like the best character in the movie. Danny Aiello. He's so good in this movie. And actually, I've got a clip here. I don't know if I'm going to get done for. I might get taken down for putting this clip on, but there's an awesome clip in this movie. Let me just see if I can find it. Let me just stick this on here.
If you're frightened of dying and you're holding on, you'll see devils tearing your life away. But if you've made your peace, then the devils are really angels, freeing you from the earth. It's just a matter of how you look at it, that's all.
So the big spoiler is that all these experiments, they did happen, and actually Jacob and his whole platoon were like infected with this drug, and they were like tested on.
Well, they call it the ladder, don't they, in the movie, but
yeah,
it's based on something called BZ in real life, which the movie claims to have happened. Yeah,
and on that day that they can't remember, they weren't attacked by Charlie, by the Viet Cong. They actually were drugged. And it was a drug that to make them more aggressive, but they turned on each other, and they basically were killing each other. and Jacob was like, he's basically dying, and he's in his last death throes, and he's just figuring out that actually he's what has happened to him is that he's dying, and he just needs to let go, and because he won't let go, he's seeing all these demons and things, and that's basically it.
Yeah,
it's really complicated to talk about, Peter. Can't believe you made me talk about the movie.
No, you did well, mate. You did well. It is a complicated movie.
So how much did you like this movie? Because I think this movie is absolutely fantastic. It's like super emotional, and it's a total mindfuck.
Yep. I'm going to go as far as saying I think it's a masterpiece, Jacob's Ladder. Yeah. I think it's a masterpiece in storytelling because it's literally telling about 3 or 4 narratives simultaneously. Back in the day, from a studio movie to come out like that was it just didn't happen very often, and it's talking about government conspiracy. It's got a commentary on the Vietnam War and how pointless and fucked up that was. It's got a commentary on grief, loss, and there's also a narrative going on about Jacob, who's ultimately, he's feeling these, he's going through these very real side effects of this real drug called BZ, pneumonia, hallucinations. They were real side effects of this drug BZ. So, that's in the story as well. But it's also about a man. And more importantly, the core of the story is it's also about a man, which is very much his journey. You were just privileged to watch it. It's also about him just coming to terms with what he's got, what he needs to say goodbye to, what he's lost, his own personal grief over his son.
It's heartbreaking. It really is heartbreaking.
And the way it's told, is so very. I mean, have you ever had one of those dreams, Vasi, where you wake up the following morning, you go, "Fuck me, where did that come from?" And this is very much like Jacob's Ladder, I think. Where his girlfriend is Jezebel from the post office. Jezebel being the biblical name of the temptress from the Bible. But it's Jezebel from the post office who he probably fancied while he was at work, but his subconscious is going fucking nuts at this point in time, creating different realities, alternate realities. But meanwhile, the demons are saying they're almost directing him towards, Hangfire, you're dead here. You're not you're not at a party. You're not with Jezebel. You haven't just had your palm read. You're not kicking back. You're not enjoying yourself. You're dead. So these demons, as he sees them at that point in time, are really, for me, as the viewer, they're really trying to steer him down towards that you need to reconcile because you're on your way out.
Accept it, yeah.
And it's his very, very slow fight, if you like, to stay alive in his own mind, because physically he's already dead. You know what I mean? His body's knackered and everything like that, but his mind's still tweaking. And when he finally, gets to see his son at the end, and his son takes him up that light staircase, which is a little bit cheesy, but it works. It still works for us, and it's still kind of
earned it by that point. It's totally earned that moment at the end.
And you see him on the slab, and he's got that kind of not a smirk, but all that almost content look on his face. And the guy says, that's him away. Look at his face. He looks so content. He put up a hell of a fight, though. That essentially just sums up the movie, right there. Yeah. So there's a few red herrings in the movie, the red herrings being, this conspiracy, that kind of thing. And, a lot of people that I've talked to about Jacob's Ladder, throughout the years, they'll say to me, "Oh, I didn't like Jacob's Ladder. The twist wasn't very good." And I'm like, well, it's not really a fucking twist ending.
It's not about the twist, is it?
No, it's an ending. It's a resolution. Yeah. The resolution makes everything, worthwhile, and it explains everything. It's an ending. It's not the Sixth Sense, where you don't have to reevaluate every scene that you've seen beforehand to see if it makes sense or anything like that. It's a bad trip. it's a masterpiece, and Tim Robbins has never been as good as he is in this movie. You know, I mean, and that's saying something because he's a fantastic actor. We're talking
He's super
about
likable, isn't he? He's like a everyman, but he's like super likable in the movie, and he emotes very, very well. Like
there's not
when
one
he's like
second of that
in
movie.
pain, you like you can feel it.
Yeah. There's not 1 second of that movie that you're not on Jacob's side and you're not wanting him to be okay and get through it. He's such a nice bloke, and he's constantly trying to shield other people from his problems, that kind of thing. He's just a nice guy, and he's going through this real trauma, and he can't put his finger on it. And you know, again, it's a horror channel, so let's talk about the horror aspects. The horror's fucking brilliant. You know, that scene that you talked about earlier on in the hospital where he's on that bed. What I love most about that scene is the escalation of that scene, because when he first put him on the stretcher, he's walking, and then as he's going from room to room, you can hear this just rumble and vibrating that's getting more and more coarse through every room he's going, and every room he goes to, there's little aspects just
it's like he's going into hell, isn't it? It's like he's going into hell. Yeah,
descent to hell. Exactly. So the horror is absolutely fucking terrifying. You know, the party scene, that pumping James Brown record, and the
faster and faster, doesn't it?
Yeah, the rape of Jezebel, you know, and it comes out, you know, it penetrates her entire body, it comes out of her mouth, it snaps the skull. What the fuck? This movie was a 15, man. You know what I mean? That blew my mind. And I do remember a time, Vass, we watched the deleted scene from the movie where he gets a cure. And the monster comes
antidote,
and you didn't like. I remember you hitting kind of a white. You go, you know, it actually made you ill, that scene. But I absolutely agree that it should have been deleted from the movie because it was maybe too much carnage for Jacob to go through right now.
I don't know, man. I've got to say, Jacob's Ladder is probably the only movie I can think of where all the deleted scenes are like as good as the rest of the movie, and I would love to see a version of the movie with all those deleted scenes put in it, because there's not one scene there that's like, I mean, the movie's like at a 10, it goes for it all the time, and those deleted scenes are like would have added so much more to it. It's a shame those deleted scenes, you have to watch them separately from the movie.
Yeah, I mean, they are excellent. The beauty of the deleted scenes in the Blu-rays and the DVDs and stuff, and I think they're available on YouTube as well, is they're all scored and fully directed and fully edited and everything like that. So, you know, there's nothing rough about
all the effects, everything in the air. Absolutely.
So, no, they're excellent. But like I say, the movie for me is nigh on perfect.
It's super intense, isn't it? And it's sad, but it's not depressing.
No, there's redemption. There's always real redemption at the end of the movie.
Hope, all the way through. Even though it gets worse and worse, he's like falling down all the way through the movie. And every time you think he's going to get a bit better, something comes and just pulls the rug out from under him.
Absolutely. I mean,
I've got one clip. Can I show this one clip?
Go for it.
Jacob.
Oh.
Jacob. I still love you.
Dream on.
God, no.
Breaks my heart, that scene, man.
I
Breaks
love
my heart, that scene. Yeah, you know, the sense of relief when you see her and she's saying that I love you, and that scene, because he's just been through absolute hell. You think to yourself, finally, as a viewer, I'm getting a breather, but more importantly, Jacob's getting a breather, and then that voice, dream on, you're not getting out of this shit. This is just the beginning. Heartbreaking. And that tear that rolls down his face is fucking perfect.
It's a movie that demands your attention while you watch it. Like, it's totally riveting the whole time.
100%. I think the first time I ever watched it, mate, was, you know, shortly after its release, and I was, I think in hindsight, I was probably a little bit too young to fully really get what it was all going on about. So, although I liked it, I found it harrowing and one of those movies that I probably never want to watch again.
I was the same. The first time I watched it, I didn't really. I don't think I understood it very much. Although there's clues as the movie goes on. There is clues. Even right at the start, where he's in the on the train and he sees those posters, and one of them says "Hell." It's like when you go back and watch it again, you're like, well, "That's an obvious clue there, like, mate."
No, absolutely. I mean, you know, the ending shouldn't really. if you're an adult watching Jacob's Ladder, the ending shouldn't really be too much of a surprise to anyone. I would think. I think Purgatory is probably one of the more logical explanations for what Jacob's actually going through in this movie. But like I say, I revisited it years later, got it, and not only did it stick as one of the best horror movies that I'd ever seen, but one of the best films I've ever seen. Period. I think it's a masterpiece, man. Perfect casting, perfect editing, music.
Got some good actors in there as well. Like, must have been a lot of early roles for a lot of them, but they got some really, really good.
There's Ving Rhames shows up in there as well. There's proper actors in there. Adrian Lyne is a director. He's never made a movie as good as Jacob's Ladder. Either prior or after. But perfect, absolutely perfect for this movie.
I think I saw an interview with Tim Robbins, and he says the 3 movies he gets talked about the most, like when people come up to him, he says one's Shawshank Redemption, obviously, and this is the other one, Jacob's Ladder, and Nothing to Lose, the comedy with Martin Lawrence, which is a wicked funny film. Those are the 3 movies that he gets mentioned most about. Wow. So yeah, man.
Quite right as well, but no, I've got nothing negative really to say about Jacob's Ladder, mate. I love it. Hence, I went and bought the artwork and framed it because it's a masterpiece. Have
you got a Blu-ray? I've still got my DVD. I had to get that shipped from America. That one, because it wasn't available with the special features.
Exactly. I've got that one, and I've got the Blu-ray, but I have to say the Blu-ray disc that I got is pretty vanilla. Jacob's Ladder needs a full-on Criterion edition. It deserves it, like a 4K remaster and a full-on.
That is a surprise. It's a 15 now. I can't believe that. I mean, it doesn't hold back at all. I mean, it's
absolutely mental, mate. It's a harrowing film. I watched it a few months back, and I showed my daughter it, and my daughter, if something's not floating aboard, within about 15 minutes, because she'll start looking at her phone and everything, and her eyes never left the screen for the entire movie. After the movie, I was like, "What do you think of that?" And she said, "It was stunning." And you could tell she was just pretty shell shocked by the whole.
Yeah, it stays with you, doesn't it? It stays with you. I can't think of a movie that's got a better representation of like demons and things. I mean, those things that he sees, it's like there's nothing like it. No. I know it's been copied a few times, but
it has. Yeah, I mean, it's had its imitators since, but nothing comes near what's in this movie. And the beauty of it is, man, I don't know if you know this, and I've never tried it myself, but I was thinking about it. It would be actually quite easy to replicate it, right? So next time you're driving, mate, put a stocking over your head, right? Yeah. Drive past an old granny at the bus stop and just go like that. just see what she does. And I bet if you do that past folk of a certain age, they'll go, "That's Jacob's Ladder, that," and then they'll run home, phone the family to say, "Am I dead? Yeah, you should do that. Easy to replicate, I think. I've got nothing bad to say about this movie, mate. I think it's a masterpiece. Thank you, whoever chose that one, because it was a pleasure to revisit Jacob's Ladder.
Yeah,
always is.
Fantastic movie.
If
you don't like that movie, man, you're missing out. If you don't like the movie, there's something wrong with you. You're not getting it.
Yeah, I mean, I can appreciate someone who's very happy. Let's say no, it's a little bit too morbid for me, because it is a morbid, unsettling film. But there is real redemption at the end of this movie. You've just got to get through the nightmare that Jacob's getting through first.
Yeah,
you very much are.
But he's at peace at the end, isn't he? He's like totally at peace at the end,
absolutely.
Like you said.
Absolutely. The redemption to this film, it isn't. It isn't, it isn't just a depressing slog. There's real redemption there for him. It's not a despair movie at all.
Yeah, that one is. I don't know if we're going to watch a better movie in these 31 days, than Jacob's Ladder.
I don't think we are. Well, we never know. Well, no, I don't think so. There's no. I'm looking at the list, and for me,
maybe Halloween.
Yeah. Go. Yeah,
it's a very different film.
Yeah, no fair. But I'd be interested to see.
I give Jacob's Ladder a 10. Easy 10. It's an easy 10 for me. Jacob's Ladder.
10 out of 10 for me as well. Yeah, 100%, mate. 100%.
Have you seen the remake?
No, I don't want to.
Oh, it's absolutely awful, mate. It's absolutely awful. They just got everything wrong.
Listen.
I don't think they understood the
Listen.
like.
If it's not Adrian Lyne, don't waste my time. Yeah, there's even a rhyme, mate. There's even a rhyme. When someone's got a rhyme, then it's got to be right. So yeah,
He hasn't made a movie in about 20 years, has he?
I've not seen anything with Adrian Lyne for a wee while. No, not at all. Oh, wait there. Didn't he do something quite recently, actually? From the Maker of Fatal Attraction. I'm pretty sure he did a movie quite recently. Let me look that up. Out of nowhere.
Yeah, but that movie's trippy as hell, man. It's trippy.
Didn't he make that Ben Affleck one that recently was on Prime with the girl who's in Marilyn, the blonde movie? It's kind of like a softcore thriller.
Really?
Soft porn thriller. Yeah. Literally. I'll find out that movie.
I think I know which movie you mean as well.
Yeah.
If I'd known it was the Adrian Lyne movie, I probably would have checked it out.
Deep Water, 2022, Adrian Lyne.
Oh wow.
Yeah, exactly. So, what do you think we get some opinions from those guys out there on Jacob Ladder, man?
Let's have a look. Yeah, I totally forgot about the comments, mate. I totally forgot about them. I should have went after we did Starry Eyes. I should have went to them. Oh man, we're back. We've done that one. Oh yeah, we've done that one, and we've done that one. Henry Cavill. Oh, here we go. I didn't like Scream 4 that much either. I hate the Scream 4, man. It was like a scary movie. The way they did
Scream 3, man. It was better than Scream 3. I hated Scream 3.
I still haven't seen Scream 3. And you need to get that watched.
God, it's bad.
Yeah, I think that all of them are on Now TV, Now Movies. Yeah, I've got that. I should get them watched before I lose it. To me, the best part of Scream 4 was the closet gag. I thought that was awesome. I don't know what bit that is. Is that in Scream 1?
Closet gag? Is that where the two doors are? I don't know, mate. I don't know if he's talking about Scream 4 there, or...
Again, so if any typos, Dave Boosty says, I'm using speech to text today on my track phone.
Oh, nice.
Ant says it's all good, Dave.
It is all good.
And I'm going to get off really tired tonight. I'll say night and be safe, everyone. Thanks for dropping by, Ant, mate. Really, really nice. I finally got to check in one of our streams. Oh, thanks, mate. Thank you very, very much. And another one. Don't think they like that with Jacob's Ladder. I think everyone's missed it. Mind. Dave Busey, the movie called Stay with Ryan Gosling, I felt kind of took elements of Jacob's Ladder in good ways. I don't know. I guess so.
Is that the one based on the that real life serial killer Stay with Kirsten Dunst? Am I thinking of the right one there? Because if so, I haven't seen it, and I really want to see it because I saw the documentary about the real life killer, and that guy was a fucking nutcase. So yeah, I want to see that.
Is that a new movie or an old movie?
The movie, if it's the one I'm thinking of, probably about 8 to 10 years old, something like that.
All right. I don't like Ryan Gosling, man. I think he's overrated.
What about?
I watched that action movie that he was in, and the guy's got no charisma whatsoever.
What about The Good Guys?
I mean, that's a good movie, but it's that's the dialogue.
It's Last Boy Scout 2. That's basically what it is. It's the Last Boy Scout 2. It is. It fucking is. It's a remake of the Last Boy Scout. It totally is, man.
It's got zero action in it, and there's no Bruce Willis.
Go watch Last Boy Scout, then watch that straight afterwards, and you go, oh, yeah, shit. It is a remake.
Yeah, I'll check it out again, Pete. I disagree, though. I think that's it with the comments there. Okay. Oh man, did you watch the Mark Kermode and Simon Mayo? They did this it was like a football World Cup, but they did it with horror movies. But they had all these movies and had it like in a thing with balls, and they pulled them out in numbers, and they put movies head to head as they came out. Have you seen the video? Awesome. Check it out. You should check it out. It's really interesting. But Mark Kermode, man, he's got some weird taste in movies. one came out. It was so the two movies that came out was first one came out was The Fog. John Carpenter's The Fog, and then Get Out came out,
Right.
and Matt Commode was like, "Oh, Get Out's gonna win that easy," and I'm like, "Nah, man, The Fog's 10 times better than Get Out. What are you talking about, mate?" And then one came out was Evil Dead 2 and Rosemary's Baby, and he was like, "Oh, Rosemary's Baby's got it." I'm like, "Nah, Evil Dead 2's 10 times better than Rosemary's Baby. Not wrong in Rosemary's Baby, but I mean,
I like Rosemary's Baby as well, but no, Evil Dead 2 right enough. But cinema purists, they're gonna go with Bloomin' Rosemary's Baby, like the purists, the green corduroy wearing purists will go with Rosemary's Baby.
Evil Dead 2, man, it's one of the best movies ever.
Yeah, no, Evil Dead 2 is. It's very, one of the most influential movies as well. Like,
shall I tell you a story about Evil Dead 2? You know, when I got married in Pakistan, so I hadn't met my wife. Like I saw her, and then we got engaged, like an arranged marriage.
Yeah.
And then when I went back over the year after to get married, and then on our wedding night, was our wedding night? I think it might be the wedding night. We stayed up all night talking. We stayed up all night talking, and I was telling her about myself, and I was telling her about that I like horror movies and this and that. And I had a little DVD player.
Yeah.
And when I was, because I didn't really understand the language, and I would normally stay to the side, and I always had something to do. Like I watch my movies, and there was like loads of shops there where you can buy like pirate movies and things. I used to go in them stores and pick loads of movies. Anyway, I got Evil Dead 2. It was like a pirate. I think I've still got it somewhere. And that night, it was like 3 a.m, and my wife's not watching. And the moment I actually fell in love with my wife is like, I was like saying, "Oh, it's late. Should we go to bed?" And she was like, "Nah, let's watch Evil Dead 2." And I was like, "I fucking love you." The last couple of hours we started watching Evil Dead 2, and that was the very moment where I fell in love with my wife. Even though it's an arranged marriage, but that's when I fell in love with her. Is when she said, "Let's watch Evil Dead 2," and I said, "Yeah, let's watch Evil Dead 2."
That's amazing.
And I absolutely love you.
Did she like it? Did she like it? What did she think?
I think I'm not quite sure. I think she did it because she knew she wanted. She did it for my benefit, I think.
Yeah, it was important for you, so she did it.
Yeah.
Oh, that's lovely, Vass. That is lovely.
That's my Evil Dead 2 story. That's why I love my Evil. I always loved it. I always will. But yeah, that was my Evil Dead 2 story.
That's a lovely story.
I love my wife with Evil Dead 2.
That's brilliant, mate. Thank you for sharing that. That was quality.
Yeah. Oh, you know what was cool? What happened to me? There's this channel. Oh God, I've forgotten the name of the channel, and they have guests on, like famous people, and they had Tom McLaughlin on, the director of Jason Lives, and the second time he's been on. So it was late at night, and I just put on my phone going through the YouTube before I went to bed, and it just started the stream. There was like 4 people on the stream, which I couldn't believe. Wow. And they were interviewing Tom McLaughlin. So I started like putting in questions, and literally like 6 of my questions got asked to Tom McLaughlin, and he answered 6 of my questions, man. And I was made up about it. I was like, wow, he's like, it's a shame he wasn't like looking at he couldn't see the chat comments coming up. He mustn't have been looking at it. But they were reading my comments all night, man. He was answering my questions and all this stuff, and I was like, me and Tom McLaughlin, man, were like this. And he was like saying, "Oh, that's a good question. He must be a true horror fan." And I'm like, "I like you, mate. You're a good guy."
Not a casual horror fan, no.
No, exactly. So yeah, man, I made my weekend when I saw that. I'll send you the link to that.
Send me the link. I want to see it,
me, man. It was just me. It was like there's only 3 other people in the stream, but it was always my questions I got asked because asking really good questions. So,
I went on to the Fifth Beatles stream and voted for you, Vass. Anyway, I just started.
All right, okay. I think he's just put a video out with the results. Ooh. So I haven't watched it yet. I think it came out while we were on this stream.
All right.
I don't think I won. Never mind.
Well, got to be well after tonight's amazing stream, mate. Then you're nailed on for next month if you did. Don't worry about
It was just bad timing. It came on when I was on a break. September. I was on a break in September, so I only had like 2 videos out, and most of the other guys like in like a week had more videos than I've had in the last flipping 3 months.
Gareth,
they were whacking out the content.
Gareth's content is it's fucking relentless. Like it's absolutely relentless. It's great. Don't get me wrong, but it's I'm like that.
I don't know if he finds the time to like watch movies and do all these streams and then put out all these videos. It's like a machine. He's totally like a machine.
Absolutely.
But that's the way to do it, man. If you have the time.
Yeah.
But unfortunately, my life gets in the way, so I don't normally have time. But this is nice. This is relaxed, and we can just chill and talk movies.
Exactly.
Can't think of anything better to do than do this.
Exactly. Well, we've got 7 to talk about next week as well. So should we run down the 7? Oh, we need a slasher.
All right. Have you got the ones that you've written down? Because I think we've got all the suggestions. We just need to pick one.
Okay. So we had Friday the 13th, Part 3. We had Bloody Moon. We had Slaughter High. We had the Dream House one. I think it's Dream House, the Hong Kong one. And I might have forgotten the others.
How about you writing them down?
There'll be.
I'm sure each time I said, write that one down, Pete. Write that one down. You didn't write it down.
They'll be on the comments. They're on the comments. Review the comments. We've got the main ones.
I'm going to do that one, Pete. You're an amateur. You know that, Pete. You're a goddamn amateur.
That one.
All right.
Do that one. Look at the cover.
Yeah. Right. So let's look. Let's pick the ones that we haven't seen. I've not seen Bloody Moon. I've not seen Dream House.
Nope.
Oh God, what else? Let me just quickly see if I can see something else that was. Can't believe, man, Pete. You've let me down there, mate.
Sorry.
I think Curtains was one. Silent Madness.
Yep.
I've seen Mad Men. All right. Alice, Sweet Alice.
Yeah.
Psycho 2.
Yeah.
House on Sorority Row, The Final Terror. Haunt was about 15 times mentioned by the same Boosty, Mr. Boosty.
Yeah.
I was Dream Home, not Dream House. Dream Home.
Dream Home.
Did you not even write that sucker down, man, Pete?
I thought I'd remember it. I thought.
I'm doing 50 things at once here, Pete. I thought you could do that one thing for us.
Sorry.
Yeah. So let's pick it between Dream Home and what was the other one again? Bloody Moon. Which one should we pick?
I like the sounds of both of them, but you know what? I'm easy both of them. You pick, and I'll go with your pick.
I mean, just to pick one, man, Pete.
Okay, let's go with Dream Home. Dream Home.
All right then.
Do you want Bloody Moon? You want Bloody
That's
Moon?
fine.
The cover of Bloody Moon looks pretty good.
Yeah. Let's go with Dream Home. I'd like to check that one out. It's different, isn't it?
Yeah. Exactly. Cool. So that means then for the following week, starting tomorrow, High Tension or Hot Tension or Switchblade Romance, whatever you want to call it. Yeah. Then
I've already got that downloaded.
Yeah. Dream Home. Then we've got Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2003.
Yeah. I've already got that downloaded as well.
Then we've got wait there. Oh, sorry, I got that wrong, mate. Sorry.
Start again. What's Mondays? Mondays is High Tension.
Monday's High Tension.
And Tuesday is going to be Dream Home.
The Prowler.
Oh, The Prowler. Okay, I've got that downloaded as well.
Yeah. Texas Chainsaw Wednesday, 2003.
Yeah.
Then we've got Dream Home.
That's Thursday, is it?
Yeah. And then on the Friday, we've got The Slayer, 1982. I haven't found that one yet. So
okay,
you have to point me in the right direction for that one.
If you're on Shudder, I'm sure I watched it on Shudder, mate.
It's on Shudder, okay. And then Saturday, we've got X. And then Sunday, we've got Maniac, 2012.
Okay.
That's our week.
Kind of dipped down again at the end of the week there, but never mind.
I kind of liked Maniac 2012. It's the POV stuff and that I thought was very good. But it was one of those movies that I watched, liked, bought, and it's still in the wrapper, and I've never never watched it since. So yeah, it's because it's pretty tough. Like,
yeah, the real Fifth Beatle says Mark Kermode picked Get Out because it's the politically correct thing to do. Yeah, he's quite woke, is Mark Kermode, isn't he? I noticed that.
It's
Mr. San, you guys know you're still online. Yeah, just chatting, dude. Just chatting. Oh, I'm not gonna get in trouble. I don't think it's anything bad, did I?
No, not at all. Not at all.
Dear Boosty, I didn't like it. Didn't like Get Out that much. I thought it started off kind of decent and kind of creepy, but then it kind of became boring. Then to me too. I mean, I'm a fan. I like the movie. I think
it's just not as good as The Fog. That's all.
I think it's his best movie that he's made.
Yeah.
The Fog, man. It's absolute classic. I didn't like the movie Get Out too much. It was kind of a good. Yeah, okay. No worries, mate. We got it. Totally got it, Dave. Sorry if some of my comments were doubled. One of them I had a typo. No problem, mate. No problem at all. But I guess to meet them sometimes they show up. They do, mate. Yeah. Switchblade Romance is great. It is, yeah. That's one of the movies. I think I watched that with you, Pete, the first time I ever saw that.
You did. I remember after the massacre at the house at the start, your comment was, "How long's this movie been on, Peter? Because it feels like it's been on for about 2 hours because the massacre scene was so grueling." And I was like, "Oh, 25 minutes, man." You were like, "Oh no."
You've got good memory.
I remember that. But yeah, no, I'm looking forward to talking about that. Because I vent quite a bit on the horror movie forums about that. When I'm going to refer to them as younger people. Come online and they go, "Oh, I fucking hate Hot Tension or Switchblade Romance or High Tension. I hate it. The twist doesn't make any sense." And I have to go and put them fucking right every time. And sometimes I'm like that fucking cat on the keyboard. The internet meme, the cat. Just to put them right, mate. So I'm looking forward to talking about that.
Yeah. To be honest, like, she's a petite woman, like, and when you find out it's her doing everything, it's like you think, well, how did she manage to do all that? Like,
well, we'll talk about it. We'll talk about it next Sunday. I've got an explanation again. I've got an explanation. Don't get me started.
Hassan says favorite anthology TV show or film horror or mainly horror. Anthology TV show or anthology film, I guess.
Okay.
Have you got one?
Yeah, anthology.
Cat's Eye. Is it Cat's Eye, mate? Is it Cat's Eye? Is it Creepshow?
Well, listen, it's either got to be Creepshow or Creepshow 2. I love them both, but I love Southbound, mate. I love the recent Southbound. I absolutely love it. I adore it. I think it's.
You like that?
I loved it. Like it's.
I remember watching it, but it was like it didn't really leave a lasting impression on me at all.
Oh no! I mean, I've watched it a few times. I like the wraparound story and everything like that. Right. I like.
I'll give it another go, Pete. I'll give it another go. I might
give it another go. I mean, it's a John Carpenter movie, is what it is. It reeks of John Carpenter. The synths, the storytelling, and everything like that. And the hospital segment in the mid section of the movie, where the guy runs over the lady who's in Starry Eyes. And then takes it to the hospital, and this voice on the phone is just telling them how to operate on her to save her life and stuff like that. It's just fucking, it's fucking harrowing, and that's it. I love it. Like I love Southbound. It's it's one of my favorites. But you've got to go with. Well, I've got to go with classics, Creepshow and Creepshow 2. Cat's Eye, I like, mate.
Are you a big fan of Creepshow 2?
Yeah.
I don't know. I always found the Raft one is awesome, and the Hitchhiker one is very good. The wooden top head, whatever that one is, the one with that one is slow as anything, man. It's like nothing happens in that one at all. It's like takes so long.
But I still like it though. It's like watching.
I always skip that one, dude. I always skip that one.
Do you always skip that one? Watching Creepshow and Creepshow 2 for me is very much akin to having a nice meal. You know what I mean? Like a nice, pleasant meal, good food and stuff like that. I'll watch them, and after I finish them like that, and I'll go to bed with a nice wee smile on my face and that there, just because they're good movies. They're a good time. Like they're a good time. But
have you ever seen that anthology film called Nightmares? So one of them's got Emilio Estevez in it. This is like 1983, I think, and it goes into the computer game. And one's got Lance Henriksen in, where he's getting chased by this truck, and he can't see who's driving the truck, and he's getting chased by it. No, there's one bit where the truck comes out the ground, flying out the ground.
I haven't. That sounds awesome, though. That sounds
awesome, man. It's good. Right. It's good. Nightmares.
That is that sounds awesome. I like anthology stuff. Because I didn't mention the Twilight Zone movie. You know, I like the Twilight Zone movie as well.
Twilight Zone movie,
that's
man.
Awesome.
Often kick the can. I love it.
I tell you, recently I watched it again.
You did, yeah.
Kick the Can made me cry, and that was the one I always skipped when I was a kid. And I was like, "What's wrong with me? I'm getting old." But yeah, no, I do like a good quality anthology movie. And there was some pish anthology movies put out there, like by Medusa Pictures and stuff like that, that were low quality and shite. Like, but there's been some good ones recently. Southbound, I think, being for me the best. I watched this one called, I think it's called XY. I think. And it's I think 3 or 4.
As well, isn't it?
Say again?
I think it's on Shudder as well.
I think it is made, yeah. And I think it's 3 or 4 stories that are made by women, and they're all right. But the first one is really bloody effective, and it's about this woman who's on a train with 2 kids, 2 little kids, and there's this stranger sat opposite them, and he sat there with this ominous-looking fucking box, and he leans over to the little boy and says, "Do you want to have a look in my box?" And the woman's like, "Oh, sorry if they're bothering you." He's like, "Do you mind if I show you your child what's in my box?" And she's not too keen, but he shows this kid what's in the box, and you never see what's in the box, but the kid just looks. The look on his face is just disturbed, and then he goes home and he doesn't eat ever again until he starves and wastes away. And then he passes this illness on to his sister and the husband, and they all just waste away in front of her. And it's really fucking harrowing, like, and really scary and ominous, and you don't know why it's happening or anything like that. The others were like kind of monster schlock segments. Now, I didn't really care for them, but that first one was really bloody good, scary horror filmmaking. Like, really bloody scary. It's worthwhile just checking out for that one.
Oh, mate, yeah. Real Fifth Beatle, the Creepshow TV series was a bit disappointing. I totally agree, man. There's like 1 or 2 decent ones in it, but
I like the
second series was even worse.
I like the one which homage the Evil Dead. Like, it was stupid.
Yeah, it was dumb as anything.
I've got a kick out of it. Like, to be fair, but yeah, it's disappointing. I mean, it
didn't make any of them scary. That was the problem. None of them were like, they didn't try and make any of them scary. They just like weird stories.
I did like that one where there's a body in the suitcase.
Yeah,
you see the one with the body in the suitcase. I kind of like that segment. But mine would be the Twilight Zone.
Yeah, I expected more though to be honest, from the Creepshow TV series. Yeah. Dave Boosty, mine would possibly be Twilight Zone the movie. Yeah, and I got to see it in theaters. That's cool, man. Yeah,
that is good.
Creepshow, I think that's the best one. Part 1, as far as anthologies go, just my opinion. Yeah, Mark, I think we pretty much agree with you there.
Yeah, 2 masters,
I'd pick Cat's Eyes, maybe number 2 is my favorite anthology, and I got to see it in theaters. Yeah, man, I'm a big. I've got Cat's Eye. I do got Cat's Eye. I won this in the competition, mate.
Did you?
Yeah. I still haven't opened it yet.
Nice.
He said, do you want Nightmares, the one I was just talking about, or do you want Cat's Eye? So, and I like Nightmares, but I think I like Cat's Eye a bit more than Nightmares.
Yeah, fair.
Put down, man. Let's have a look here. I think the Creepshow TV show online should a thing would work a lot better if they had better writers and they used. Yeah, it's the stories, isn't it? It's the stories that make it.
Yeah, and like you say, Vass, there's nothing scary there, unfortunately, and there really should be.
Dave Boosty, I got to see the movie Nightmares in theaters back then. I kind of liked it, though some of it was pretty good. Yeah, man, I enjoyed that one. It's one that's I must have watched so many years ago, and it's just one of the ones that just sticks with you.
Yeah,
and I like Emilio Estevez as well. It's a shame when he stopped making movies.
We'll always have men at work, though, mate.
Yeah, that's on Freevee actually. It's an awesome film. Mate.
Oh, I like that
It's on
movie,
Freevee, man. Check it out. You know what's on Freevee? Kiefer Sutherland. He did one with Lou Diamond Phillips, but it wasn't Young Guns. It was like it's like a buddy movie. Renegades. That's the one. Renegades. That's on there. I've not seen that in years.
I haven't seen that in years.
That was fun. Oh, I'll tell you a really good Kiefer Sutherland film. Not many people have seen it. You ever seen Flashback? It's got Dennis Hopper in it.
No.
And it is a fantastic movie, man. It's so funny. I think it's about 1989, 1990. And Kiefer Sutherland is like a young FBI agent. He's very, very straight, very like follows the rules. And Dennis Hopper is like an old hippie dude. And he's wanted by the FBI for like something he did 30 years ago. And they finally catch him. And he needs to take him like to FBI headquarters or something. And they're on a train, and Dennis Hopper like makes him think that he's slipped drugs to him, like slipped him a Mickey, and he hasn't really, but he makes him think so. And then he gets totally drunk. And anyway, they switch places. He like Kiefer Sutherland passes out, and Dennis Hopper dresses as the FBI agent, and Kiefer Sutherland is like looks like he's like a drunk dude, and he gets off the train and like in this small town, and he's like saying that Kiefer Sutherland is the perp and Dennis Hopper's the FBI guy, and they go into this town, and the town's got like this corrupt mayor type dude, so like the FBI is after them, and all these corrupt people in this town are after them, and it's a really, really good film, man. It's really good. And it's like man. That's on Freevee as well. That's what I was going to say. It's on Freevee as well, man. You should check it out. It's a really, really good movie. It's got really good soundtrack, like 60s, 70s movies. And it's really emotional at the end as well. Yeah. It's like an anti-war movie, and it's cool, man. I don't really like movies with hippies in that. Yeah. Some proper funny scenes in that. Some really, really funny scenes in it.
I like
it's it's highly, highly recommended. Real Fifth Beatle. Remember Free Jack? I certainly do remember Free Jack, man. Free Jack's an awesome movie. Mick Jagger's awesome. What's the line? You must know the line. I'm sure you've told me the line that like, Mick Jagger says.
Get the meat. he says, yeah, get the meat. He's like, oh no, don't. I don't like the dark.
Like Mick Jagger, like just being Mick Jagger in the movie.
Definitely,
yeah, that's a good one. That was one of the first kind of like virtual reality sort of movies, wasn't it?
Yeah.
I think that one kicked it off. Dave Busey, the Creep Show needs better writers, and they need to use like a full hour for each episode. I think horror works better that way. I did like the Tobin Bell, Adrian Barbeau episode. Yeah, was that not the first episode? Like the first episode of the first series, I think was that one.
Can't remember.
I think they did one. Didn't they did like a special that was like a cartoon, and Kiefer Sutherland did the voice.
Yeah, I saw that one.
Man. So bad, man. That was really bad. Dave Busey, I meant to say I saw a Creep Show in the theaters, not Twilight Zone the movie, but I did see Twilight Zone the movie back then on video. Yeah, man, I had it on the videotape for ages. I used to show it to everybody. The last one with John Lithgow in, man, it's amazing. That's like the best 20 minutes ever. Right, mate, that is all the comments. Wow. Dude, are you a fan of Community?
The show.
The show.
I have not seen one episode of Community.
Have you not? No. Get it watched, man. If you like movies and like if you like shows with like lots of movie references,
all right.
The show, man. Yeah, man. It's got one of the best casts of any TV show. It's I think it runs 6 seasons, and it's absolutely fantastic, man. Me and the family, man, we watch episodes like when we're sitting down to eat or something. We don't know what to watch. Instead of spending 20 minutes finding something to watch, we just stick an episode of Community, man. It's so funny, man. Really, really, really good.
I will check it out.
I mentioned it because they've just there's a Community movie coming out, and I'm really hyped about that because it went off the air like 2016, 2017, and they're all getting back together again for a movie, the Community movie. Nice. But man, get that show watched. It's on Netflix, like all of it.
It's all on Netflix. Oh. Well, I'll tell you what, man. I will watch an episode tonight as I go to bed.
I only got into it because I like Chevy Chase. I'm a big Chevy Chase fan, and he's one of them. So I only checked out because I like Chevy Chase. But the show is great. Man. Everyone in the cast is so good.
Fair play.
Yeah,
I've got to ask as well, Chevy Chase. Have you seen the new Fletch movie? I haven't.
No, mate, I haven't. I don't know how they can make a Fletch without Chevy Chase because the man is Fletch.
It's got bad reviews.
Has it got bad reviews? Yeah,
yeah,
that John Hamm guy plays Fletch, isn't he? John Hamm.
That's right.
Like, how the hell did they find? What made them cast him as Fletch? Doesn't make any sense.
Well, apparently, I hear that the movie execs lost confidence in it halfway through it, so slashed the budget, and John Hamm personally slashed his paycheck to complete the movie.
It looks like a TV movie type thing, doesn't it?
I mean, it could be a mess. But yeah, there's a new Fletch movie out there, mate. And yeah, no cinema release.
I love the Fletch movies, man.
Yeah, good, man. They are great.
Right, I think, guys, let's see if there's any more comments, and then I think we'll wrap it up. We've got a good 2.5 hours here, which I'm super happy about.
Yeah.
Let's have a look. Dave Boosty, the flashback was kind of a funny movie indeed. Yes, it was. It was a lovely surprise. Hassan, if you want a good episode, watch Series 3, Episode 4. Yeah, man. Of Community.
Episode 4. New problem.
Yeah. Right, okay, so, peoples. We've done the first 2 days of the 31 days of Halloween. This week coming is Slasher Week. We've got all slasher movies. I think we've just gone through them. High Tension, The Prowler, Texas Chainsaw, Dream Home. What was after that?
The Slayer, X, Maniac 2012.
I mean, yeah. So we'll be back next Sunday, and we'll have 7 movies to review. And it's going to be good. So week 2 is slasher movies. So thanks to everyone who stopped by and everyone in the chat who left a comment. Really appreciate you hanging out with us for a little bit. And we will see you next Sunday, same time, same place. Me and Pete. And it's Halloween month. Let's do it, guys.
Thank you very much.
Everyone, take care. Have a good rest of your weekend, and we'll see you next week. So long.
Night.
And